Hello, good morning. Welcome aboard to AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaiji. Let me take you through our first story. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has frozen several properties across the country, along with a fixed deposit account containing 10 million cedis belonging to the former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab. So, according to the Attorney General, painstaking investigations uncovered how between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Wahab, his wife and others allegedly siphoned over 78 million Ghana cedis from the company's account into various firms that they had secretly established. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba reports.
Crop with high domestic and export potential.
According to the Attorney General, among the properties owned by the former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab, that have been frozen by the state with steps initiated to confiscate them include, but not limited to, a number of residential properties across the country. A fixed deposit account containing 10 million Ghana cedis, a 5-bedroom house at Chain Homes valued at $1.6 million, a 3-bedroom house at Cantonment worth $600,000, a 17-bedroom boutique hotel in Tamale valued at $250,000, and several other assets acquired between 2018 and 2024, which he says were purchased with proceeds of crime.
1. A 5-bedroom house bought from Chain Homes Limited, between February 2019 and December 2020 at a cost of $1,625,000. Of this amount, $5,758,165 Ghana cedis, that is the equivalent of 230,841 United States of American dollars, was paid directly from the accounts of the investigated entities. The balance was paid in cash to Chain Homes by the couple. In July 2020, the couple purchased a 3-bedroom house at Cantonments from Golden Coast Developers Limited at a cost of 600,000 United States of American dollars, using two of their companies, Fahauser Ventures, owned by the wife, and Fahauser Company Limited, owned jointly by the couple. The land documents were, however, registered in the name of their wife. Between October 2019 and February 2021, the couple purchased plots at Fanali's airport development site for 750,000 United States of American dollars. The total payments were made in cash in the name of Faiza Seydou Wuni. We have the cash, receipts from the developer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, other properties acquired by the couple are as follows. A 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani in Tamale, in respect of which the couple used Fahauser Company Limited to sign a franchise with Villa Monticello for the price of $250,000. In other words, $250,000. So they wanted Villa Monticello to run it as if it is a Villa Monticello hotel. So they paid $250,000 to Villa Monticello, in order to hide the identity of the hotel.
The AG says the former Buffer Stock boss and his wife have been charged. The charges will be filed on Friday, October 24.
Bank documents obtained by EOCO reveal that within the period that the suspects operated this criminal enterprise, Mr. Abdul Wahab and his wife and their entities became the largest depositors at Republic Bank, and the branch was at Labone branch. Lastly, we have frozen all the assets of Hanan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. We've done the freezing, including those of the vehicles. So on account of the foregoing, we have decided to charge Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seydou Wuni, with stealing, conspiracy to steal, causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and money laundering. The charges will be filed on Friday, and I have the charge sheet, the draft charge sheet, which I am reviewing here.
The Attorney General has also been responding to claims that the government's Operation Recover All Loot initiative is moving at a slow pace. Dr. Ayeni has also served notice of plans to amend the charges in the National Service Fraud case following revelations from a forensic audit conducted by the Auditor General. The audit found that the financial loss to the state has increased significantly from 548 million cedis to 2.2 billion cedis.
Now away from the Attorney General, monitoring of meters by NEDCO at night, the need for efficiency at the utility companies, affordability, engagement, metering, and among others were some of the key issues that came up at the Tamale Forum organized by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission to gather views ahead of the tariff adjustments. Well, the residents said these are some of the concerns they want addressed by the companies. Speaking to the media, a board member of PURC, Nanaya Jantwa, said the PURC would deliberate on the issues raised by customers, and if the utility companies are found not to be doing the right thing, the authority would ensure that they are sanctioned.
The forum brought together representatives from the Ghana Grid Company, the Ghana Water Company Limited, and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, to educate residents on the proposed increase and also to respond to the issues they would ask after their presentations. Residents from all walks of life, including students, sought information on how to have their concerns addressed. Speaking at the event, a board member of the PURC, Nanaya Jantwa, said one thing they noticed was limited engagement between the utility companies and their customers.
Our biggest issue at the PURC is the question of engagement, that the utilities should engage the consumers. They should engage the consumers so that the consumers should know what they are supposed to do and also what the utilities are supposed to do for them. One of the issues that came up is the issue of metering, and there's an issue of engagement.
She added that they would ensure at the end of the engagement that there is a fair balance for all parties.
I want to emphasize that whatever proposals that was brought today are proposals that will be interrogated by the PURC. So at the end of the day, we'll put in place all the necessary technical variables, and the most important variable being the decision variable will also be considered. Which is the decision variable? The decision variable is what the people today at this public hearing have told us. You've taken note of what the chiefs have said. You've taken note of what the people have said. You've taken note of what the young children, the young school ones. I'm surprised about some of the questions that they ask. Very intelligent questions. So we have a whole facet of consumers. So at the end of the day, everybody should be assured that the PURC will come up with what is good for the consumer and what is good for the utility service provider.
Speaking before the commencement of the forum, the CEO of the PURC, Dr. Kwabena Nyakon, said with effective dialogue such as the forum can help shape Ghana's utility sector.
You have a unique opportunity to interact directly with the utility companies. They will be making presentations right after the chairperson has spoken. And in this presentation, they will explain many things to you. But please, you are now free to interrogate the things they explain, ask questions, and make suggestions. So the reason for being here is simple. As the utility companies explain their tariff proposals, we are giving you the opportunity to interrogate and make suggestions, and make sure that the commissioners here will listen and make input on the basis of the suggestions that we are going to make.
And moving on to other stories, the Member of Parliament for Ibuako South, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, is urging African lawmakers to pass and enforce stronger laws to end health inequality across the continent. So, sharing the story of a young mother who walked several kilometers to give birth only to find the nurse had no delivery kits, said that such tragedies expose Africa's deep healthcare gaps. Dr. Agyeman made the call at the 5th Federation of African Law Students Continental Conference in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. There's more captured for you in this report.
Friends gathered students, lawyers and policymakers from across Africa to discuss how legislation can strengthen healthcare systems and protect citizens' rights. Speaking on the theme, legislating for health justice, advancing universal health coverage in a pan-African context, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman urged Parliament to move beyond rhetoric and enact reforms that make healthcare equitable, accessible and universal.
That is the true spirit of universal health coverage. To legislate for health justice is therefore to legislate for human dignity. It is to recognize that behind every clause debated and every budget approved stands a life that depends on the choice of Parliament. We have to put a human face to health justice. At the heart of every policy, every statute, and every budget plan lies a human story. Health justice is not about statistics or hospital infrastructure alone. It is about the lives and dreams of people whose names may never appear in our reports, but whose struggles define the moral duty of leadership. A few years ago, I met a young mother in the eastern region of Ghana. She had walked more than 6 kilometers to reach the health center, only to find that the nurse on duty had no delivery kits. She wrapped her newborn baby in her own scarf, smiled, and whispered that she was grateful her child had survived. That single encounter taught me that legislation must not only allocate funds, it must protect dignity.
Dr. Kingsley Agyeman also called for a continental legal framework to harmonize national health laws and align with the African Union's Agenda 2063 and Africa Health Strategy.
Health justice in Africa cannot be pursued in isolation. Disease, like poverty, knows no borders. A child cough in Lagos, a cholera outbreak in Harare, or a malaria set in Isigani can all ripple through the continent if we do not stand together. The pursuit of universal health coverage, therefore, demands that African nations see themselves not as competitors, but as collaborators in a shared human project. Our strength lies in collective vision. The African Union's Agenda 2063 and the African Health Strategy reminds us that our future will be written not in the silos of national policies, but in the bridges of continental cooperation. When nations share data, align health standards, and build research capacity together, they create a shield that protects every African life.
Some participants in Addis Ababa welcomed his message, saying if African leaders adopt his recommendations, the continent could make real progress towards universal health coverage.
I think for the most part, when we talk about health equality, we focus on the health receivers, the patients who receive the health, but we forget that there are also providers who provide the health. So when Honorable was giving his speech, he mentioned that it's a shared responsibility, and so it has to be a very good balance between the providers and then the people who receive the health and governance in general, because then that ties into the legislation bit of everything.
For Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, health justice must be Africa's next major legislative priority. For Joy News, Carlos Caloni, Addis Ababa.
But moving on, Executive Director of Voice of Women and Children, Ghana, Juliana Afia Mahmood, has called on the government to take a serious look at the cost of medical examination for victims of sexual violence, particularly persons with disabilities. So she stated that the huge cost of medical examination scares victims away from reporting to the police and also to the health facilities. Our correspondent in the Upper West region, Rafiq Salam, reports.
The program held by Voice of Women and Children with Disabilities, VOA Ghana, in partnership with the Africa Women Development Fund, was in twofold: educating and sensitizing women on sexual-based violence and breast cancer and screening them to ensure that they are not victims of a cancerous disease and other diseases related to the breast. The participants were drawn from the 3 selected special schools in the one municipality and other women with disabilities from the West District and one municipality. Executive Director of VOA Ghana, Julian Afiam Hamoud, laid bare the intricacies and challenges involved when persons with disabilities are sexually abused.
Be good, and sometimes to the negative attitudes of the law enforcement agencies towards women and girls with disabilities in reporting such issues is always appalling, because you go there to make a complaint that this person has harassed me sexually or has abused me sexually as a visually impaired, and the only question they could ask you is to tell them the color of the shirt that the man was wearing. How do I tell the color of the shirt as I'm a visually impaired? But that doesn't mean that I don't know that somebody has forcibly have an intercourse with me or someone has forcibly pressed my breast. So all these are some of the challenges that we have seen, and with the support from African Women's Development Fund, from the CASA initiative. CASA is a Twi word which means speak, that they founded us so we could come to WA and then train these women and girls on how to report these issues. And so today we are here to train about 50 women and students with disabilities on how to go about reporting such issues.
Juliana Afia Mahmoud called on stakeholders, particularly the government, to make the medical examination of victims of sexual-based violence free.
When they report the issues at DOPSU, they're supposed to obtain a medical report from the hospitals. And sometimes the doctors charge around 800, 500 cedis, sometimes 1,000 cedis. And most of these women and girls are not working, and so they cannot afford this amount of money. So they end up not reporting. So what we have been raising awareness, speaking with stakeholders and other duty bearers to even erase that fee, so that a person who has been violated is vulnerable. They don't have that kind of money. So when they go, at least the government should set up a fund that will cover such costs, so that these people will not be frustrated to pay.
The VOA Ghana Executive Director also threw further light on the program, which they will be replicating in Tamale on Friday. Public health nurse and one municipal coordinator for adolescent and school health, Shirley Pearl Grubier, urged women to take advantage of the month and beyond to visit health facilities for them to be properly examined by health workers.
We should encourage them, as the month is designated for that. Maybe we'll see how stakeholders can help with a little learning or readable materials that can be given out to these special schools, so that they can read these ones. If it's in the visually readable mode, the one that has a side problem can read and know information about breast cancer.
Reporting for Dway News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And from the Upper West region, let me bring you back to Accra. Tensions flared at the Agbugbuloshi market as pepper sellers clashed with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's task force during a Clean Ghana enforcement exercise. The task force had moved in to clear portions of the market said to be operating under unhygienic conditions. But some traders resisted, accusing the AMA of unfair targeting and failing to provide designated selling areas. My colleague Stephen Mensah was there and filed this report.
The exercise, which began in the early hours of Wednesday, forms part of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's renewed push to rid markets of unauthorized structures and improve sanitation. Director for the Clean Ghana campaign, Florence Cookie, tells Joy News the Assembly will intensify enforcement and begin a full-scale crackdown on traders who flout the directive.
In our AMA sanitation bylaw, the market sanitation bylaw, you are not supposed to display your ware below 3 feet. Because when you display your ware below 3 feet, we know that the ground is not paved. Even if it is paved, there are some microorganisms that can easily have contact with your food and the product will be contaminated. Somebody will say, yes, even when it's contaminated, we'll go and wash, we will cook. It is not every microorganism that when you wash and you cook, they go. When you go to the market, you see that there's a dwarf wall. Everybody is supposed to be inside the dwarf wall. Anyone in front of the dwarf wall is going contrary to the sanitation bylaws. It's just that people are refusing to change. Since people are refusing to change, we will use the law to help them change.
She says corporates will be arraigned before court for flouting the sanitation bylaws.
Being a first-time offender, you've not gone to the court before, you can be fined not less than 50 penalty units, which is 600 Ghana cedis. And if you are not able to pay, you can go for remand for 3 months. Every day we have our information van going around educating people they should move from the roadside.
But in a sharp rebuttal, the traders say the assembly failed to provide alternative spaces before the confiscation exercise.
Since we have nowhere else to trade, we've decided to sit here. We don't have the money to rent shops either. We understand that you mean well for us because this is a road and anything can happen. A driver's brake could even fail. But for the little we are trying to earn, that's why we are trading here.
Abigail, a trader who deals in the sale of pepper, says although the action is justified, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly must intensify public education before carrying out such exercises.
It's true, if they were consistent, we would find a way to cooperate. With the way they've shown up today, they should be coming around more often.
The traders are demanding more consultation and better relocation plans before any further demolitions and exercises.
From the Agbebloshi market here in Accra, I am Stephen Mensah, reporting for Joy News.
And whenever you hear that sound, right, you know what time it is. In just a few hours, the prelims take a sharp turn into old grudges and new ambitions. One-time champions at Cathedral College, whose tribes once terrified opponents, return to the NSMQ stage to face similar rivals, familiar rivals, Asin State College and the ever-fearless Ya Asantewaa girls, all chasing just one thing, a seat at the 1/8 stage. My colleague Jacqueline Ansomayeboa has more in the following report.
At Cathedral College, unfortunately, the journey ends for you here. Hopefully, next year, we will see a comeback.
This is not a casual contest. It's a rematch with history baked in. During the regional qualifiers, reigning champions, Infantapim School, denied at Cathedral a 4th straight regional crown by just 3 points, a loss that still bites today. Now, at Cathedral and Asin State meet again, and both are very aware there are no second chances at this level.
God is still with us. We'll surely come back strong.
Are coming with a different strategy and morale.
What do you have to tell Ya Asantewaa and Cathedral?
It's either us or no one, because we've gone back and done our homework and we are going to put on our best.
And while the battle brews, eyes will also fall on Infantaman Girls Senior High School. The last time they were seeded was almost a decade ago. Today, they return to the NSMQ stage, trying to rewrite their story or risk walking it off again.
Yeah, we promise an exciting contest with all our contenders. We are going very far this year and we are aiming at sending the trophy to our school this year.
Okay, so it's going to be a host and win for you.
Yes, please.
Meanwhile, the day just gone gave viewers enough fireworks to last a week. Kumasi High School, Kobo Girls, T.I. Amas and Nkwetia Presby Senior High School all delivered strong performances to secure their tickets to the 1A stage.
I'm wishing my boys at Cathedral College all the best today. Well, it's now time to hand over to the Ahanta Pele Samuel Kojibri to bring us some business news.
Well, let's start our business with what's trending on the currency market. Away from that, economist Professor Peter Kote has called for stronger collaboration between Ghana and its neighboring countries to accurately measure the impact of informal trade on the country. His comment follows a revelation by the Ghana Statistical Service that the total value of informal trade in the fourth quarter of 2024 is estimated at 7.4 million Ghana cedis, representing 4.3% of formal trade volumes recorded. Professor Kote spoke to Joy Business.
I think the Statistical Service has given us a lot of information to chew on. They've told us the kind of goods that are being imported or exported. They've told us the routes, etc., the countries or the destinations, import or export destinations. So it is up to us to look at those ones that are low-hanging fruits that we can immediately increase production. Those we can invest, and then in the medium to long term, we can produce more. We do so. Also, looking at the demand for some of the products and where our brothers and sisters in neighboring countries cannot produce, we can take advantage of our comparative advantage and produce more of such goods and export and earn foreign exchange. Togo, for instance, you see a lot of cassava products being carried across the borders. I mean, if you travel to Lomé, you see how many of our women and men carrying things across the borders and trading. I believe there is a demand for this product, so we have to take advantage. Policy intervention in terms of facilitating access, facilitating easy passage, even providing support in terms of credit for production, to boost local production.
Let's wrap the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. Well, that's all in business update for you. I'll hand over to Poma. But just after Poma and after the AM Sport, we'll bring you news review. And then we delve into the big stories as well. And in the big stories today, quote, I was never an incompetent lawyer in private practice, and I don't want to be an incompetent lawyer in public practice, unquote. Attorney General frustrated and makes a passionate appeal for patience as pressure mounts on him to expedite prosecutions and secure convictions in fulfillment of campaign promise to recover all loot. Also, NSS investigations takes a new turn as forensic audit reveal amount embezzled, allegedly more than quadrupled to 2.2 billion Ghana cedis. Plus, reintroduction of the Anti-LGBTQI+ bill in Parliament to generate heated controversy as Minority Leader Alexander Afeomakin accuses NDC of backtracking, on their words. These and many other matters are rising for discussion with our panel. We'll have Dr. John Osai Kwapong, who is a CDD fellow, joining us for breakfast today. Dr. Joshua Zato is a political scientist and policy analyst. He'll be joining us as well. Elekem Kotoko is Deputy CEO, Forestry Commission. He will be on the show. And Nana Yao Sapon, Deputy General Secretary of the United Party, will be joining as well. You know what? Your thoughts are very much welcome. So join the conversation via phone and all our social media handles. We will be glad to hear from you. So stay tuned and join us when the time comes. Back to you, Poma.
So that's it for AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaije, but you know that if you want more stories, there's one place for you. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a wonderful show.
Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. We start with boxing, and the next phase of Matchroom Global Expansion lands in Ghana on the 20th of December, with the company's first ever show on West African soil. The event will serve as a key precursor to a potential Anthony Joshua fight in Accra next February. My colleague Nathaniel Atto explains what this means for Ghana boxing.
This is a very big moment for Ghana when it comes to putting ourselves on the map for boxing all over the world. We know many stories of how, places like, Las Vegas have become traditional places for boxing. And in recent years, Saudi Arabia, where we have the beautiful Riyadh Nights and all of the big promotions that have happened there. Some historic fights in the heavyweight division, which is a traditional weight division, which pushes boxing a great deal, have all happened there. Now, Ghana now stands a chance of becoming one of the preferred destinations. Do remember that South Africa, for instance, over the years, because of the presence of the IBF, have had many promotions there, many successful promotions. And here on the African continent, South Africa is seen as the home of the International Boxing Federation. In the same way, Ghana can place itself very, very prominently within the world when it comes to organizing such big events. And of course, sports tourism has loads and loads of benefits that governments can draw. We're already talking about the Black Star experience that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama's government wants to push in terms of moving tourism to another pedestal. And a lot is being done. And the question I kept asking my friends in the fraternity is, where is boxing's place in all of these big activities that happen in the last quarter of the year? And so this announcement by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Promotions has come at a very good time. It is very strategic, and I believe that Ghana needs to cash in on this a great deal. Most importantly as well, to make a massive impression on the whole world so that other promoters and other franchises would want to establish here and would want to host events from here.
To football now, and 90 days after beating South Africa on penalties to finish third at this year's Women's AFCON, Ghana's Black Queens are back seeking qualification for next year's continental showpiece. The senior women's national team face Egypt in Ismaila for the first leg at 4 p.m. today. Head coach Kim Las-Bjorkegren is confident his players will rise to the occasion.
It's great to be back with the girls. Have been too long time since the great tournament that we had. We came together as a really strong group. We performed well on the pitch, and we had so much fun off the pitch as well. I think when we now came back, we are in a good place. Of course, you always want more days to prepare for important games here against Egypt, but otherwise a really good energy, and we're looking forward to play another 2 games here. We know that we have a strong squad that did really well in the summer, like I said, but there are so many players with good potential that haven't been in the squad before, so of course we watch them as well, and we try to rotate and give new players a chance in the squad. Because in the end of the day, we always need to have the best players on the pitch for Ghana. Yeah, we will only have like 2 days together here in the preparation for the first game. So of course that it's less time. You prefer to have a little bit more time, but it is what it is. So no excuses. We have prepared the team in the best way. We have watched Egypt, how we think that they're going to play, but more important, how we want to play. We know that we are a good team, so we have all the chances to win, especially over 2 games. I think the depth in our team is a little bit better, so I hope that will be the favor for us if you're looking over 2 games, because it's like the first game now is just going to be
The men's senior national team, the Black Stars, they are already done with their qualifiers and were unable to book a spot at this year's AFCON in December. However, they bounced back with victories to qualify for the World Cup, a run that has earned them nomination for the men's national team of the year at the 2025 CAF Awards. Ghana won 5 of its 6 competitive matches this year and will face stiff competition from Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and Ivory Coast, and of course 5 others for the top honor. No Ghanaian has been shortlisted for the Men's Player of the Year, with Egypt's Mohamed Salah, Morocco's Ashraf Hakimi, Nigeria's Victor Osimhen, and 7 others vying for the prize. The CAF Awards ceremony is scheduled for December. Now, the next competitive tournament for the Black Stars is the 2026 World Cup, which kicks off in June. Now, Ghana midfielder Kwesi Sibo has admitted the disappointment at missing out on the AFCON, but says the team can achieve big things at the World Cup, highlighting strong unity in camp.
Like, I would just remove the player outside and I'll be like, as a Ghanaian, I was just hurt, you know, because every Ghanaian were expecting Ghana to be at the AFCON. I think this is the first time that we didn't qualify to the AFCON. Yeah. So I was just hurt, and I feel like even that qualification that we didn't get pushed the guys really hard for them to get this this World Cup qualification. But at first I was just hurt, and now I think that we have greater things ahead of us. So, yeah.
Speaking of the greater things, what can this team achieve at the World Cup?
This team can really achieve big in the World Cup next year, because the young child that I have seen, I have trained with, I think most of them are doing well in their various clubs in Europe. And I feel like this team is more united. Yeah. And one thing I always say, like, if a team is united, it's hard to beat. If a team is together, it's really hard to. And this team is really, really united. Like, everyone, you see everyone talking to each other, every person. You will never, like, see someone not talking to this person. Like, we are all together, we are all making jokes, and that makes a team really strong.
Fantastic.
Full interview will air tomorrow at 6:30 a.m.
Well, hello there. Thank you for staying. This is the AM Show. Welcome back. And the AM Show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Now, let's talk water tanks, Ghana. Do you know the real secret to water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex Tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Syntex Tank has your back. So, my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, of course, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Go on and call them 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can as well shop online via syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, A strong, A tough. And of course, today is the Habitat Fair, Kujo. And so it starts today all through to 26th. And are your homes really safe? Are we building the future or building risk? Across many communities, poor construction practices and unclear land ownership have led to unsafe buildings and unending legal disputes. Join us at 3 p.m. today at the Accra International Conference Center for an eye-opening seminar on housing safety, substandard constructions, and legal landscape of land acquisition. Lead speaker, Dr. James Ollens Lindsay, President of Ghana Real Estate Developers and CEO of JL Properties, lawyer Kwame John. You want to join that conversation, but even just a few hours later, the EcoBank Habitat Fair starts. And so you want to join us at the Accra International Conference Center. Time now to review the news. And joining us in studio, I have a full house this morning. Dr. John Osai-Kwapon, CDD Fellow, Dr. Joshua Zato, political scientist and policy analyst as well, Elikem Kotoko, Deputy CEO, Forestry Commission, and Nanaya Sapon, Deputy General Secretary, United Party. I nearly said the Movement for Change, but United Party. Well, you want to stay with us, but the Ahanta Pele is on the smart wall to take us through the headlines.
All right, thank you very much, MFA. And maybe I have to say good morning to my designer, Abby Trent, who makes me feel very good in these beautiful kaftans. You have to get one for, Your father, yeah? Nana, let's get him one. But even before why are you running?
I like the way you restrain yourself.
Oh no! Why? You don't know MFS father? You don't know MFS father is a chief.
It's too early, and their mics on.
We saw where you were going with that thought, and then we realized it.
Because you don't mind the procedure.
Guys, look out for Abby trends, for your designs as well. But just before I get into the papers, today is the birthday of one of my business mentors. In my business life, I've had people who have held my hand to pull me up the chain, and one prominent member is a man I so admire, Roland Quay. Mr. Roland Quay is the managing partner of New Age Agri Solutions Limited, the CIMG Agri Company of the year 2024. And Mr. Quay, today is your birthday. You are a great guy. You are a great man. You are always there to help pull young people along. And I've seen the impact you've left on the lives of a lot of us young people in the agri space. As you celebrate your birthday today, you don't like to be celebrated, but it is our prayer that the good Lord himself will keep lifting you up and keep surprising you. He will expand your horizons and make you the best of the best when it comes to the agri sector. So Mr. Roland Quay of New Age Agri Solutions Limited, good morning to you. A happy birthday, and may the good Lord continue blessing you. Well, let's get into the papers this morning and start with the Ghanaian Times. Well, big story there. The Attorney General, who feels under pressure, says Ghanaians, be patient with him. He says that he was a very good lawyer in private practice and he would never disappoint Ghanaians in public service as a lawyer. AG pleads with Ghanaians over recovery of loot, prosecutions, but a lot of people are also asking questions. If he has watertight cases, why not go to court? So that's something that our panel will be discussing. Reviving Ghana Airways, President hints of public-private partnership. When we had an interaction with the Transport Minister, he reviewed this. The President has intimated that we are engaging private sector players in reviving, Ghana Airlines. Let's see how that goes. Informal cross-border trade hit 7.4 billion Ghana cedis in Q4 2024, according to Ghana Statistical Service. That's huge there. Long-term inclusive national development plan unveiled. Details on page 11. Former NSA Deputy Director granted bail in 38 million Ghana cedis case. So that's those are on the front pages of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Get the paper and get details in there. Let's do the Insight newspaper now. And on the front page, SMG calls for action against environmental vandalism by capitalist elites, reject imperialism and neoliberalism. Wow. See that this will be an issue that Dr. Kwapon and the rest will really take on. We have the forestry deputy CEO here, right? So we handle it for us. Gold Board opens applications for jewelry and refinery licenses. Wow. And for you and I have to put our monies together and go for one.
I agree.
Details are on page 8 of the paper. It says imperialism cannot make us abandon the path of socialism, reaffirms Cuban foreign minister. Details on page 10. China condemns U.S. airstrikes in the Caribbean, backs Venezuelan sovereignty. Details are in the Inside newspaper. Let's do other newspapers here. And if you check the new Finder, it says transport, digital service, lead job creation surge. Okay. All right, get details on page 12. Smuggled vegetable oils threaten livelihoods of over 1.2 million Ghanaians. We need to check this. I want to be remembered for making CD currency of choice, BOG governor. And Ghana pushes for modernized South-South trade pact. Those are the stories on the new Finder. Let's do other papers. The business analyst, GJA pledges support for Gumua Central Economic Zone, Jumfor Hills, Mohammed's 24-hour economy. Get details on page 3 of the paper. The informal trade, cross-border trade is also being reported there. Gumua Central, Ghana's next industrial powerhouse unveiled under Mohammed's 24-hour economy vision. Okay, and I loved the launch that they did there. Asset of former Buffer Stock CEO and wife frozen. Okay, details are there. The business analyst. Let's do other people. On the back page, Ghana City to record first ever annual appreciation against US dollar post redenomination. Okay, right then. CEO of Mobile Money Limited calls for fintech industry players to engage innovators to deepen financial inclusion. Let's do other papers. Yeah. Now from the Ghanaian Times, okay, the back page of the Ghanaian Times, NADMO tasked to establish flood management league table for MMDAs. Oh, okay, wow, interesting. Foreign Affairs Minister urges renewed commitment to address global challenges. These are the stories on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Let's take you to the CIMG News Portal of the Year 2024, myjoyonline.com. Of course, you can't do news review without myjoyonline.com. If you go onto that particular portal, there are a lot of stories on there. You get to get details of the AG's press that he did yesterday. Yeah, a lot of stories came up of that particular. When you go there, you get to get more. Now, oral data included garbage, that's quote and unquote, entries collected without verification, Domilevo says. So, of course, a lot of people were talking about this, but it is out of that that the AG is also making a lot of these inroads into fighting corruption. Now, MPP vindicated. Oral was a complete waste of time, says Menchia South MP. Well, let's see how that will go. No NDC lawyer is cutting deals for former MPP appointees. Amaliba clarifies, and a lot more stories on the myjoyonline.com portal there. So go on to myjoyonline and get a lot from there. I didn't distribute fertilizers to MPP PCs in 2024 polls. Brian Achampon says, get details of that. And government firm on treating crime without bias, Interior Minister says there. And you know what? This story, Shatterfest to become an annual event, Shatawale says. I'm sure you saw those huge crowds at the Independence Avenue or Independence Square when Shatawale held the Shatterfest. There was just a gathering of all of Ghana there. 1 dead, 4 injured in gunfire during Ojura Festival clash at Ashiriase. You can get details of that. Now, CPP denies petition to remove Mahama as president. Okay, those are details there as well. And we have a lot more stories on myjoyonline.com there. So, Eva, that will be all in the review. Let me hand it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Kujo. Always amazing to bring us a quick update on the newspapers. We shall get into the details then. Have a good one.
I'm glad you didn't say quickly.
It's early, Kujo. It's very early. Please get him out of here. But gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for making time for us this morning. It's been quite a busy week already. If not for anything, yesterday at least, the Attorney General gave us a reason to want to have a lot to talk about. And so this morning, yes, we shall be going through all of that this morning. So LGBTQ chaos in Parliament yesterday. I'm sure that you followed that debate, that conversation in Parliament. And then as well, National Cathedral audit, the Attorney General as well mentioned it yesterday. And as well, the NSS saga update, the amount has been quadrupled, if you look at it. As well, the AG has been asking for some patience during this prosecution period. He as well has been reminding us that he's not cutting deals. And as well, another big fallout from the AG's presser yesterday was Hanan's allegation, and with Hanan himself as well, responding that the facts of the matter do not reflect the true facts as per his story. And so we'll get into that. But let's start with the LGBT chaos in Parliament. Good morning, gentlemen. I will start with you, Nanayao, because, well, first of all, let me know if it has your attention and what about it has your attention.
Thank you very much, Emma. Good morning to my senior colleagues. And thank you to your production team. Emma, when it comes to LGBTQ, I am very much biased on the subject because of my religious background as a Christian, and also because my dad was a traditional leader in the Esumja traditional area. He was the Nifahini of the Esumja Traditional Council. And I also grew up in the Muslim community way back in Tamale. So I am very much biased when it comes to issues of gayism and all of that. And I also, growing up in my primary school, they taught us some book readings called the Courtesy for Boys and Girls and the life skills in our very basic schools. However, it's an interesting subject, and it is one subject anytime it comes up, then I read and see a lot of political hypocrisy in our dispensation. And why do I say this? This matter could have been dealt with many months ago, especially when Parliament had passed the bill. If we would want to say that Parliament did rush in passing the bill, and for that matter, there is a need for us to look into it, that is another issue to be dealt with. But when we just want to say that let us push it because we think it's the right thing and it's still being delayed, then that is political hypocrisy. This bill was passed by the 8th Parliament, if I am right. It had a lot of ample time for the President then to have ascended his signature on it. Now, you would understand that following the history of it, a part of this bill was taken to court, and a part of it was held at the office of the President, with the excuse that this bill was in court. Not being a lawyer, just an ordinary Ghanaian citizen who doesn't want to just be a citizen by being a spectator, but also just be an active citizen. I know that the interpretations of our laws are done by the Supreme Court, and if a bill is not ascended on and has not become a law, how do you then take it to court for it to be interpreted? And so even if we had wanted to do that, the President then would have just ascended his signature on it, and then we move. But what happened? Yesterday, I think that Haruna Idrisu took this whole debate up to the face of the President. And I think that is something that Ghanaians, we would have to understand. That is where I call the political hypocrisy. The minority is aware that there was a breach in our Constitution. And they blinded their eyes to it. And they come back, and when the whole bill is now going through a process, we want to say that we didn't know.
What breach was this?
And then he quoted it.
What breach was this?
And so I brought the Constitution here today. Article 106, Clause 7 says, where a bill passed by Parliament is presented to the President for assent, he shall signify within 7 days after the presentation to the Speaker that he assents to the bill, or that he refuses to assent to the bill unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State under Article 90 of this Constitution. Where the President refuses to assent to the bill, he shall within 14 days, that is the 8th, after the refusal, A, state in a memorandum to the Speaker, not to the court. So you bring it back to the Speaker. Give reasons why you are refusing to sign. And let us ask ourselves a very simple question as Ghanaians. Was that done? But we run under the cover that an aspect of the bill was in the court, and for that matter, let us leave it there until the court decides. When it also got to the Supreme Court, they decided to play ostrich. And it is one thing that I think go on my social media handle then. I said that for this matter, the Chief Justice ought to go. Why? Because you see, you cannot deliberately, as a Christian, look on. And this one, that's why I said I'm biased on it. Look on to something that the entire nation is fighting and wants to stand up against. Keep it on your shelves and decide not to treat it as urgent as it were. But yet, an issue would come from Parliament on the issue of who becomes minority, who becomes majority, which was of no relevance to the growth of Ghana. You expedite that within 24 hours.
But we have a new Parliament now.
We have a new Parliament.
If there were challenges,
so we need to accept the fact that if we have a new parliament, what are the processes that bill would have to go through? Does the bill have to be represented?
We're at a crossroad because in Parliament, in one breath, the majority leader would like us to believe that that bill has already been passed. And so he's quite surprised why it is even taken an expression in Parliament again. Then another breath, the argument is that per Article 108,
yes,
the Speaker would have to agree to a private member's bill,
which it is.
So we're sitting here, we're not in Parliament, but the concern really is that if the majority leader says that the bill is being passed, then what are we discussing? Why do we need the Speaker to actually agree to it?
There was a question that was posed yesterday in Parliament, which I think would have helped in the discourse. You can't just go to Parliament to read stuff. The question that was posed was it part of the business of the day? Was it discussed as part of government business? Was it supposed to be on the floor? We've heard a lot of stories about it being mentioned and all of a sudden being having vanished into the thin air. But Parliament is a house of records.
Okay.
So if it was, we should be able to know. But I am talking about the hypocrisy of our Ghanaian politics.
Which is particularly which one?
Which is the bridge I read to you.
Okay.
We looked on, you understand me?
Yeah.
Decided to play technicalities. We hid it. And we are here now trying to fight something that we are pushing
what could have been done?
What could have been done, and now that we are trying, another section is trying to push it to go through a whole process. I have always been for the school of thought that, listen, this whole bill, if it has to start afresh, if they are telling us that they cannot present what we had as a bill to the president for him to sign, if it can't go through another reading in Parliament for it to go through the system again, and we have to start it afresh, we ought to be able to find sponsors for this bill to go through.
We have sponsors already, do we not? But let me go to Dr. Zato. Dr. Zato, are you for, so there are two schools of thoughts here, that the bill has already been passed. Why are we discussing it in the 9th Parliament? That's one. And so it will require just presidential assent. There's another school of thought that says that because the president didn't assent to it, it died with the 8th Parliament. So it must go through a new process in the 9th Parliament. Which of those school of thoughts do you belong to?
Thank you very much. First, just a small thing about, let's say, the whole concept of LGBTQ. I believe, sincerely, and my conviction is that that thing is not about human rights. LGBTQ, or whatever you call it, has absolutely nothing to do with human rights. It has everything to do with what? Values. Values and different cultural values. In this case, a purported attempt by so-called people with so-called superior Western values to impose them on poorer countries using aid, trade, and generic foreign policy as powerful levers. Not about human rights. It has absolutely nothing to do with human rights. And that is the problem with it. That's why we are here where we are. That some people sit somewhere, think that they are superior, they are this thing, and that let's use trade. Let's use our foreign policy. Let's use sanctions. Let's use the IMF, the World Bank, the Bretton Woods as vehicles, as drivers of our policies, and then impose them on other people. That is why I don't know what I hope I don't ever get to say this again. I agree with Donald Trump very well when he said that he believes, and he said, hold that. One man and woman, they were created man and woman, and they were said to say, I believe the same thing too. That anything you are doing is a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice, not about human rights. You were not born that way, you don't live that way. If you're born that way, you don't need a surgeon to make you that way. The God is the great surgeon in the world. He created that way. That's your problem. First about that. Two, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was wrong when he did not sign this into power. He was wrong. And this, by not signing this into power, this thing, it also contributed to the massive loss of the NPP in the last elections. He was wrong. He had no business not signing this. There are two things. You are a president, the thing has come. You identify that there are constitutional challenges. You do your part. You sign it. I sat somewhere on some another media and I said, look, if I was the president, I'll hold a huge grand debate at the south wing of the Jubilee House. I'll call all the National House of Chiefs, all the big chiefs in Accra. It will be big music, big food, everything. I will sign the grand debate and let it go. Let it go to court. Whatever the judiciary says, not more my problem. He was wrong. And as I said, it contributed to the loss. I mean, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference and all these organizations came, they begged, they pleaded, he didn't listen. He was wrong in doing that 8 courses. But the question then is, why did he do that? As a student, I consider and say, he had a reason. It's not justified. I'm not saying it's justified. Again, I want you to understand my analysis. He had a reason. Because at that time, Ghana was negotiating with the World Bank and the IMF. At that time, Joe Biden was the president of the United States. And they didn't even hide it. There was a full statement from the State Department saying that if Ghana goes along with this thing, there will be serious repercussions, financial repercussions.
Why didn't you just tell the Ghanaian people that, listen, I'd love to sign this, but because of the obvious challenge, I won't sign
politics.
it. It's called politics.
It's politics. It's international issues, politics, it's diplomacy, it's this thing. He didn't. So I'm saying he had an excuse. I'm not saying it's justified. I don't want anybody to say I'm justifying his stand. No, I already told you he was wrong. But that was it, because it is true. Everybody can verify. Ghana was negotiating with the IMF for relief. It's like you are a patient, you are sick there, you need blood transfusion. That is why you even realize that people who are, because of religious reasons in Ghana, if you... They
take blood infusion.
Because Ghana needed that. Nobody did. So he could say that was his reason. He could make that. I'm not justifying that. It didn't happen. In politics, the biggest crime you can pay, just like Jesus Christ died for on the cross, is to lose an election. And I'm to lose it so massively. So the NPP has paid for this. And the things he was talking about, the theatrics in Parliament, in the Supreme Court, in the Jubilee House, among all the 3 arms of government, those theatrics partly contributed to the massive loss of the NPP. And God, and the gods, and democracy gave us a new leaf.
Okay.
And now we are here today. Somewhere in January, His Excellency the President, people made the president. They asked him, and that's sometimes what they hear. When you hear, people will tell you that his President Mahama is a listening president. I am saying there's a difference between listening and hearing. And what they met it. This was what the president said, reported by Modern Ghana. Anti-LGBTQ bill expired with last parliament. I will introduce as a government-sponsored bill. Remember, part of the reasons, the problem it had was that there are certain clauses there. The one about charging it to the public, that if you say, we've arrested somebody, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but I can just see a judge saying that, well, if you go to prison, we have to feed you. That is charging to this, and so it raises a problem. The president could have, all these ills could have been easily cured. And the president also said, I was sending this to my attorney general. My point is that all this could have been cured if by now we had a government-sponsored bill in parliament to cure this thing. All the foreseen, the two or the reasons why it was taken to the Supreme Court, they would have been cured by now. The president said it. In fact, the president said that the bill had expired. I want you to understand that. That is the reason.
So we're at a crossroad. The president
no, there's no crossroad.
No, because the president says that the bill has expired.
Yes.
The majority leader says that
he's the president of the Republic of Ghana. He doesn't just speak. He has Attorney General and Deputy General. He has a legal advisor.
That was in January.
When people, yes,
so that was in January, yes. And we're in October.
When people talk to the president, and when the president makes a statement, he doesn't just talk. He talks after listening. The president understands this. He says it has expired. 2, he says, I will introduce a government-sponsored bill. The question we have to ask is, where is the government-sponsored bill you promised? We've seen bills. We've seen even a common bill for holiday, so that we don't go to work, was rushed in the middle of the night. A common bill for holiday. We've seen what happens to the D-levy at right now. And it's also about priorities. If this was a priority for the government, it would have gone under state of emergency or certificate of emergency. If the government wanted to do it, it would have done it. My point is that, why is it not done? Now, you are seeing these shenanigans. The shenanigans you are seeing were the same shenanigans you saw in the last parliament between the judiciary, the executive, and the parliament. To delay until when? It's the same shenanigans. Because here is the majority leader. You mean when the president said this, he didn't know? He didn't know the president said that he was sponsoring a government bill. Okay, granted that the majority leader is right. And granted it. So where is the government bill that the president promised us? Where is it? Granted he's right. Where is that bill?
Okay, good place to want to bring Elikem in. Dog, give me a minute. Let me come to Elikem, of course, because he's with the government. He probably had some answers between yesterday and now. You probably have gathered some answers. Usually, I'll not allow guests to ask questions, but Dr. Zato's question is quite a relevant one, and I'm certain you've heard him.
What is his question?
His question is that where's the promise of the government-sponsored bill?
Thank you. First and foremost, I must say in no uncertain terms that if there is any government, any regime, and any president who is committed to ensuring that our human rights and traditional values are upheld in consonance with what best practice is in this country, there's none other than the National Democratic Congress, and there's no other person than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I do not recall where exactly he made mention of the submission that Zato made, but I will not take it out from him, even if that be the case.
Which submission?
It is that his government, he wants to relay a government-sponsored bill. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that I won't even take it away from you.
Okay.
And even if that be the case, that is a show of commitment by a government and by a president, that I will take every step, I will do everything to ensure what needs to be done in the interest of the Ghanaian is done. There has always been a concern by many questioning the expedience or the speed with which we think things ought to be done. Just as I'm sure we may visit oral in the course of our discussions again. Certain matters of this nature ought not to be rushed, but definitely must be achieved in the end to ensure that what we all stand for, which is very obvious. And yes, we have all raised concerns, and I am surprised, however, from yesterday, that finally the MPP spokespersons themselves are now confirming that President Akufo-Addo refused to sign this. Many of us knew this. We said so many things. It was not only because of the IMF or the other fundings we were expecting from. It was because of personal gains as well. The kind of people they were connected to, who were in one way or the other, influencing them. And whenever we said, come again?
You want to break this down for me? LGBTQ Bill.
Yes.
And they are personal people that they are related to.
Yeah, they are people who, you see, these are very financially sound people. Very, very financial sound, with the strongest financial muscles. And if you do not have that strong will, you will be compelled to kowtow to what they want to have. Or
what
to
will
have
be their business with the bill?
What will be there?
Generally.
These are people who are financially sound and feel that they must have their way. They must have their say at all times. And so even in engagements with government and government functionaries, these are people who engage in one way or the other and find subtle ways of always trying to sway our people into their direction. And let me also state here, there is absolutely nothing wrong with anybody, be it me, my elder brother here, you, or any other here, associating or being close to anybody found to have that kind of orientation. You may associate with any person of that character, but it is not to interpret or be interpreted to mean that you indulge in that or you approve of that. In one way, the best ways to reform is even by associating with people, then we can be able to interact to do so. I am only convinced that sitting here now, there's none other than John Dramani Mahama and his government who is committed to ensuring that we nip this in the bud. The concerns about the gymnastics in Parliament and all of that, unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer too, but I would not even try to prefer to be one. But what I know is that whether it has to be relayed, whether it has to be state or government sponsored, whether it has to go through a process, whether there was a breach and President Akufo-Addo failed to communicate back to the speaker at the time why he was not going to sign. Even we recall at the time when they were all saying that there was a matter in court. When we tried vetting the dates in terms of when the matter was even sent to court, it appeared the president knew of the case going to court a day before it was sent to court. So indeed, we all saw what was going on at that time. But what I am happy for is that today as we speak, like it or not, in the lifetime of President Mahama's tenure, this bill will definitely be passed to ensure that we restore our values, our rights, and our traditional values.
As of this morning, where do you stand as to whether this bill has already gone through the parliamentary processes and it only requires a presidential assent, or you stand at the point where it has to be reintroduced as to whether what the president says it should be a government-sponsored bill, not a private member's bill?
That is, good. So I took into consideration what either Zato or Nana Yao said, that if it is private sponsored, the burden now comes onto government in the end if somebody had to be imprisoned, etc. I don't know about that. I have not read fully the Constitution to know of that. But my point is that, one, if it has to even be relayed, so shall it be. It must be done. What it means is that eventually it will still be relayed anyways, and the right processes be properly followed. If it doesn't have to be relayed and it is said that it is passed already, then what remedy measures ought to be taken in order to make sure that it is considered to be something that has been passed and let the president assent to it? Because what I know is that according to the Constitution, way back what I knew was that if this is sent to the president, he has seven days or some number of days to sign. If he doesn't, then he must give reason why. And that is what President Nana has not done. I'm not sure he's communicated that through the Speaker of Parliament.
No, that was never done.
So if that is where we are having the challenge, how do we solve that so that the right things are done? It could be that both parties who are saying it needs to be relayed is right. Somebody who's also saying that it has already been laid, it's also right. And I think we would all agree that both are right. But what should we do to remedy any obstacle there in order to ensure that we cross this hurdle? Okay. And I don't find any problem at all. It is just a matter of time. And it also always tells that the Ghanaians' interest in some of these matters is so heightened that you cannot toy with it. And I am happy that within this current dispensation, nobody would want to front with any form of so-called, pardon my language, nonsense in the name of human rights.
Okay.
And we must uphold our values
I'll go
to that extent.
I'll go to Dr. Akwapo now. Did you anticipate the way the conversation about LGBT bill did you anticipate how it would have gone in Parliament yesterday?
Yes, thank you. I mean, if you look at how the conversations were even in the lead up to the passage of that private member's bill, the aftermath of that, the president's, pause on, giving his accent or otherwise, the subsequent Supreme Court, filing of a case in the court against the bill because of certain aspects that, the plaintiffs found to be very challenging. And if you think to the election rhetoric around those issues, even when the two main candidates of our two main political parties had made it very clear their positions were, I recall seeing some political ads accusing them of being in support of this. So within that context, I'm not surprised that the conversation would turn out the way it is turning out, or it turned out yesterday. But at the end of the day, as Elikem said, whether the bill has expired and needs to be reintroduced, or whether it has already been passed and it's just a simple matter of taking it to the president, the policy question still remains, which is if Ghana as a country believes that this is something that needs a policy response in terms of legislation to outlaw it, ensure that whatever Ghana chooses or however they choose to deal with it, whether expired or not, that question still remains: what does the country want to do? And if it is the considered opinion, for example, of the president that we have to treat this as a government-sponsored legislation, then you would have to wait for that government-sponsored legislation to come to Parliament and see it through.
Okay. Dr. Zato, I saw that you wanted to respond. Just 30 seconds on that.
Okay.
No, I could let Nana go first.
Okay.
No, I just want to say that even, see, with this whole brouhaha over the bill, okay, I think that if President Mahama wants to take it up, I believe, I do not know specifically where in the Constitution, but I believe that the Constitution would have made provisions for him to be able to make some proposal changes, or propose some changes through the Attorney General for it to be inputted into the bill, as it were, go back to Parliament for us to read it, if it thinks. But as it stands, I think that the general consensus of Ghanaians is that we do not want to have this in our country. And this is not just a political talk. This goes everywhere, from our churches to our mosques to our shrines to the streets of Ghana. Nobody wants to have that thing here.
Okay.
If it's against our orientation, that is what it is. And I've stated that if from the West they want us to practice this here, I mean, you don't want to marry 2. You don't want to marry 3. My tradition allows me to do so. Zato.
Who doesn't want to marry 2? Eleka.
So my tradition allows me.
Did he tell you that?
Your submission took a quick detour.
Yeah.
I didn't
No. He's referring to the West failure to appreciate
the African orientation.
Orientation.
You understand me? You have an issue with our orientation and our traditions, and you want us to accept some things that you have decided to adapt out of frustration and depression.
And, you know, and just a quick one. Quick one. In fact, this is just the best time for the whole of Africa to embrace,
to unite,
to repel this whole nonsense. Pardon my French consistently on this, because even the current American president has virtually rolled back all the so-called rights of these abnormal human beings who are calling these things rights, even from their passports and whatever in America. And so every African president is now even more empowered to actually ensure that we see this out of our country.
Thank you. For students of international relations watching, there's something here you must understand. It was the late Professor Mills, may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace, who said, keep your gay money. I don't want your gay money.
Yeah.
What up? Is it the international relations sometimes they will call sticks and carrots, whether you like it or not. And dominant, powerful Western governments use mainly the Bretton Woods. Here, IMF, World Bank. They don't only just give you a check. They also give you a package of values, a package of ideas to do. So we call that soft power, and they tell you. So you are seeing part of that. Donald Trump has done the President Mahama one of the greatest good he has to do. He should take it and run with it. Because see, something is going to happen very soon, by next year. They will start looking for succession. Remember, Democrats are going to begin to go to elect a leader. Now they don't have a leader. Republicans will start looking at running for congressional races. And then you are going to see this thing surging again. So President Mahama has a good window of opportunity. Grab it, Mr. President. Please take hold of it. Go with a public bill. Because if you still go with this, and no matter what, if you go with the private members, especially now that people have informed you that these are the likely constitutional challenges, if you still go with a private members bill and it is struck down by the Supreme Court, people will blame you because they you should have known. So my point is that just cure all this ill, give us a very beautiful Christmas gift, sign a bill. Once again, Mr. President, invite all the chiefs in Ghana, all the traditional leaders to the Jubilee House at the park there.
Throw a party.
Do a party. And by the way, invite me because, you know, I said this to invite me so that I will get and sign this bill. Just do it.
Are you a chief?
Okay.
No, I'm not a chief. I'm from a royal house. We're a Balangana family of 2.
Okay. Let's go to yesterday.
If you do that, we'll kill everything.
Okay, well, we look forward to how that will pan out because 1 minute, because the speaker is not around, it just makes our conversation, it leaves our conversation right here on this table when it must extend to Parliament. Well, yesterday was quite a busy day for the Attorney General. We have heard about the NSS saga, but another addition that has the attention of a lot of people is, of course, that the Attorney General yesterday says that he is freezing several properties across the country, along with a fixed deposit account containing 10 million cedis belonging to the former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab. According to the Attorney General, a painstaking investigation uncovered how between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Wahab and his wife and others allegedly siphoned over 78 million Ghana cedis from the company's account into various firms they had secretly established. I probably will just take a minute, right, and run you through some of the things that the Attorney General was telling us are the purported or alleged properties of Abdul Wahab Hanan. So, former CEO of National Food and Buffer Stock Company. 1, 5-bedroom houses at chain homes, and the value is $1,625,000 US. 3-bedroom house at cantonment, the value is $600,000. Plots of land at airport development, the value is $750,000 US Donald Trump's dollars. 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumeni in Tamale. Gumani. What's it called? Gumani in Tamale. $250,000 US Four-bedroom bungalow situated at Jawolo, Accra, 4,140,000 cedis, 451 Ghana cedis. And also purchased a 32-acre government land, 317,200 Ghana cedis. Those are the values of the properties that the Attorney General has been telling us that they are frozen. He has since responded on his social media wall saying that the facts do not reflect exactly what it looks like and that he hopes that he would have his day in court. I'll come to you, Dr. Kopon. I'm certain when you were listening to this, I mean, because you people have done a lot of work at CDD, corruption and all of that, how does this come to you?
So I always go back to one of the most instructive pieces I read as a graduate student, and it was titled Police Patrols versus Fire Alarms. And it was this idea of accountability in the public sector and how do you ensure that you provide the kind of oversight that if you think about police patrols, right, it anticipates quote-unquote wrongdoing, right? It wants to make sure that nobody is breaking the speed limit, it's not committing crime, etc., etc. So if your police patrols work, you should be able to anticipate certain things and even catch it before it happens. When it doesn't, then your other fallback position is what we call fire alarms. The alarm goes off because there's some investigative report and then you respond to it. But sometimes, by the time the fire alarm blows, the damage would have already been caused. Anytime I listen to the Attorney General, anytime I read the Auditor General's report, the one thing that I find very baffling is that across all our public sector agencies, for example, we have internal auditors, right? We have police patrols. So I keep asking myself that, how come that throughout the entire process, that at some point, none of these police patrols were able to catch some of these allegations that purportedly is costing the nation so much. Professor Kwesi Prempeh said something very instructive to me last week when I met with him. He said, the other thing you have to ask yourself is, perhaps those police patrols and fire alarms have been intentionally disabled, right? And when they've been disabled, then they can't even do what they are supposed to do. It is, I don't think I would even watch the next AG press briefing, because some of these revelations also start making you kind of cynical, right? You start wondering what truly motivates people who want to go into, into public office, right? Is it in the best interest of the nation, or is it to pursue some narrow, selfish interest? It is worrying, but for me, ultimately, it's one of the reasons why our anti-corruption fight, and especially the government's commitment to oral, must remain and must succeed. Otherwise, you would end up, like I said, otherwise you're going to end up in a place where citizens are going to start thinking public resources is free for all, and there are no consequences for engaging in some of these alleged acts. Surely, whoever has been accused of engaging in any of these malfeasance has to be given their due process, a right to defend themselves, etc., etc. But even on the face of it, when you read some of these things and hear some of these things, you start asking yourself, what is really the issue with the way our public accountability architecture is? The last thing I'll add is, I'm working on a report on public ethics and whether there are any gaps in our public ethics architecture. And I'm just amazed to see all the provisions in the Constitution, in statutes, in acts, the different agencies, the different public professional bodies, whether it's the Public Services Commission, the Civil Service, all the rules around code of conduct, the do's and don'ts around bribery, nepotism, and all of those things. So we do have an amazing public ethics architecture in place. So again, the question is, what happens to that architecture that at the end of the day, we're reading some of these stories and seeing some of these allegations of public malfeasance, right? Is it that, as Professor Kwesi Prempeh said, we have them, but we have intentionally found a way to disable them so that we can get around it and make sure we can get away with some of these things.
Okay. Elikem, so yesterday, if you juxtapose what Domelevo was saying yesterday and the AG as well asking for some patience. Now, Mr. Domelevo seems to be worried about the justice system as it already exists because he fears that and I'll quote him, the good work that the Attorney General is doing might not, give us the exact result that all of us are anticipating because of the way our justice system is, with the AG himself asking for some patience. Do you genuinely believe that all of these press briefings, all of these painstaking investigation, as the AG has said, would definitely see some of our anticipations and our expectations come to light? Do you genuinely see that?
Thank you. There's no doubt, and it is normal, that there shall be some forms of skepticism over whatever is going on, especially because of the kind of very perceived compromised or highly compromised judiciary that we witnessed in the past decade. It is therefore justified for anybody, not only Domelevo, any other person, to feel that, oh, this is Ghana. After a while, this will go off and all that. And it is the reason why some even feel that the accused even have the effrontery to be entering a plea of not guilty in instances like this. And I am not surprised. And when we even talked about ethics, look, for instance, a week from today, on the 29th, I will be delivering a speech on ethics with the Ohio State University and University of Nairobi. And this is by reason of the fact that at the program, I stood higher grounds on some matters of principle that they felt. One Professor Donald said, look, Elikem, we will need you to do more of this for us. I have asked myself many times, and it seems this enterprise is now becoming one of husband and wife. And you see, I want to send some few little caution first. This clearly, as the Attorney General took us through yesterday, should serve as a strong warning, not only to the opposition, but even to those of us in government, that if you also dare abuse that position given you today, you'll be held so accountable, and knowing who you are dealing with today, you may even be dealt with ruthlessly than you are doing today. And so, if you are an appointee of President Mahama, live by the very dictates that he reflects as incorruptible, as placing Ghana first and achieving what he needs to do. When I was listening to all that was happening yesterday, and if you recall 2 weeks ago, I think we spoke about oral, where many were also raising the concern that it was taking too long. And we had to reiterate that the wheels of justice grind slowly. And the Attorney General reiterated that yesterday, that he has been a good lawyer in good standing in his past.
Not to cut you, but do you think that people are of this opinion and the Attorney General feeling pressured because of the way you promised and because of the way you use oral as a tool to want to win election?
Yeah, to an extent I agree. I mean, I recall that he even said that particularly here. And I said that, look, many are raising concerns because when you campaign, the messages you give them, everybody has what matters most to him or her. Somebody cares about the e-levy that has been cancelled. So once e-levy has been cancelled, he feels or she feels that once you have done that, you have fulfilled what you have promised to me. Somebody also feels that once you have initiated big push and it affects me because you are doing the road from so and so to that place, you have satisfied the demand that I want. So there are many people with varying expectations of government. That is why I said here the last time that indeed we all need to know that all the promises are supposed to be fulfilled within the tenure of the government, but not instantly. And that is why it is instructive to again appreciate that President Mahama or the government is taking turns
to do things one after the other. And very good, the Attorney General made it very clear that he doesn't feel pressured at all. He is just making sure he is taking time to build his docket very well, watertight, so that when it's submitted or when he goes to court, he wants to make sure there's a positive impact for him not to be disgraced.
Before I move to Dr. Okay.
If I can make a quick point.
Yeah.
So beyond even just the political promise of oral and the pressure that the AG is feeling, part of the angst that you are also seeing among Ghanaians is this growing perception captured by Afrobarometer that officials who do wrong, quote unquote, often go unpunished. So if you look at as far back as round 4 in 2008, it was only about 20-something% of Ghanaians who said most or often these officials go unpunished. But by the most recent round in 2024, it had shot up to about 70-something%. So part of the angst you're feeling from Ghanaians is also the fact that they perceive a justice system that appears to not really hold, quote unquote, the big men and women, the officials who, quote unquote, do wrong, accountable. So that's also part of the pressure that I believe the AG would feel, because it is reflective of something that Ghanaians are starting to say, as captured by AB, that, yeah, these people would do all of these quote unquote bad things and they would get away with it.
Right, right.
And you see, in the very past, a lot of times during campaigns, corruption has been a very topical issue.
Absolutely.
Where in the end, only 1 or 2 people are prosecuted because either their issues are so grave that we feel there's a small sin and there's a bigger sin, and let's punish the bigger sin and let the small sin go. Or sometimes we rather punish the small sin and let go of the bigger sin. So many Ghanaians are expecting this. And let me tell you, many have not paid attention to this. This is the first time in Ghana's history that a government has taken over and within less than a year has begun prosecution of people within the previous regime. Never has this happened before. It has always been after a year, because every government wants to make sure it builds its dockets very well. So this government is doing what is best, but because there's so much agitation, and also because the way and manner in which the previous regime demonstrated their governance in terms of corruption and the things we saw glaringly, which was corruption, and they defended it. And most painfully, some people who fall within the so-called social media communicators, who blind loyalists, who have not in any way even benefited from these loots, are the ones on the necks of
how politics has always been, has it not?
Defending this. I will not do that. Look, I am a young person who believes that my future is very paramount to myself. I must leave a legacy for my children and my generations yet unborn. And so if you are wrong and you are even my friend, 2 things. Count me out to defend you. I will stay mute.
Let me talk to Dr. And I'll come to you now after Dr. Tatu. Also in your submission, let's touch on the language of the Attorney General. Some lawyers, some people have said that the language he uses when he's addressing is almost as though he has found the people guilty already. Do you agree to this assertion?
Thank you. I've advocated a theory of regime or post-regime accountability. My fundamental belief is that every government has a right to hold your appointees accountable for whatever they have done and not done. And if you're a government appointee, the day you raise your hand, take an oath to do the same, you must be prepared to be held accountable. I call that regime accountability. I also believe in post-regime accountability, where if the government is unwilling or unable to hold your own people accountable, then the next government that is coming has a duty, fiduciary duty, a fundamental duty to hold you accountable. Of course, we can talk about the protection of fundamental human rights, presumptions of innocence, and all that. They all come inside. But the basic rule. So, 1, you will never see me sitting anywhere and defend or try to say, don't prosecute the person for this, don't do that. I will never do that. If the person's fundamental human rights are being abused, I will say it. If I believe that you are using the judicial system rather as a tool, as a weapon against the person, I will say it. But the fact that you are just prosecuting somebody for alleged crimes, I will say that. I have no problem with that. 2, when I see these figures from buffer stock, they are obscene. They're just obscene. And coming from buffer stock. There are some organizations you see if to say these monies are coming from there. Like, oh yeah, I can see that. Not buffer stock. The NPP introduced free HSS. It is one of the biggest social interventionist processes in Ghana's history. posterity will thank Nana Don Akufo-Addo for that policy. Posterity will be fair, and history will judge him fairly and be nice to him for that policy. But something happened post-2020 after the elections. The NDC and also civil society organizations began to realize something. The quality of food in secondary schools began deteriorating, and deteriorating at a fast rate. I think this media house actually did a documentary on it.
Yeah.
So I must, buffer stock had this money and there was no food for students?
He must. And it's a
Buffer stock, like I'm just saying, I'm hoping these monies exist, because sometimes accountants have a way of labeling things as money when it's not real money. You know, I hope it's not a tree or something that they say this is the value, so there is the value. Did this money actually exist in the accounts of buffer stock? Just take the 1.6 million alone could have fed all students in Ghana. Going to the elections, going into the 2024 elections, that was the biggest criticism of the NPP. And whenever you mention it, every member of the NPP was put on the defense. That was how we could not write on the free HSS to another victory.
How do you expect the NPP to be reacting to this?
I don't care what they react. I care about what I react. And I'm just telling you how I'm reacting is that, was this money real? Was it there? And you couldn't feed the students? They couldn't get the money. Was it real? Was this money there? I hope, again, presumptions of innocence, that when you go to court, we'll do this. But there's something. So that's my second thing that's there. Again, I'm happy that there's that presumptions of innocence. The man has issued a statement. Again, we hope that the judiciary, the legal system will be fair to him, will be just to him. He will have every opportunity to prove his innocence and everything. But again, I said, wow, these are really obscene. I mean, I'm just saying, if you give me just one of them, any one of them at all, I'll be a rich man. I'll probably stop teaching. Okay, especially the first one, you just give me that money, I'll stop teaching. I promise you that, make it happen. But let's come down to something. Then, that is what I'm saying. Attorney General, again, he's doing these investigations. It's a human man's job. Thank you, Dr. Ayine, for this. But then I come to the next thing, which is this.
Which one?
Dr. Ayine is saying that he will not accept any deals. He's not accepting any deals. I come from a school of thought, and I think Mr. Martin Kwebu also comes from that school of thought, that sometimes you believe in what? Retrievals. That if the person can pay all the money with some interest, he believes in that. I come from that school of thought too. Also believe. But there's something here. The Attorney General said, no, na lie. I won't take any deal in this case. Okay. Mr. Attorney General, where do you find this newfound hesitancy to no deals? When did you develop it? When you were doing the bank thing, what's that bank?
When you meant deal, do you mean that he said he what? Bargain plea?
He said he wouldn't do that. I heard him say he wouldn't do anything. He didn't. Did you develop this new appetite for no bargain pleas when you're doing the what's the bank thing? That bank? The Dufour bank thing. When you gave Dufour 40-60, you didn't have this. When you gave knowledge prosecutors to about 7 high-profile NDC people.
I think he was referring to the Ashanti Regional MPP.
Yes, but he also said that in the part of the distance, there was this thing that people are trying to come to you to make deals. Even I think he said, but he won't take any of that. My point is that if you can go, the same Attorney General, give out up to 7 knowledge prosecutors. Do you know the amount of monies? Those monies mirror this one. Those monies are far more than these monies. Even the 60-40 sharing you are doing with the Dufour Bank is almost this amount or more than this amount of money. So when it comes to Dufour, you do 60-40. When it comes to the Cocoa Board trial, the Senate trial, name them, help me name them, Elikem. You know
why would Elikem help you name them?
When it comes to all those things involving high-profile NDC, you give them sweetheart deals. Oh, wait, don't worry, I've got you. I've got your back. Sort it out, go. Don't come to
but
now you are not saying that when it comes to any of these people, now you are saying, if it is any of these people who are your political opponents, no deal. That's not justice, that's not fairness. That's Tom and Jerry justice. That's not fairness. My point is that if you think that you could have given these people knowledge prosecutors to go and sit home with all the obscene amounts of money that they took, why don't you put that offer on the table for these people? That way, because again, you are also Minister of Justice. Where is the justice?
Talking about justice and talking about language and talking about what he would accept and what he would not accept, what do you say to people on social media? And I know you can respond to this. What do you say to people in public discourse saying that the Attorney General introducing the lifestyle of the buffer stock CEO's wife listing the number of handbags he
No, I was supposed. I've not yet ended. I wanted to come there. Oh no, Nana, you have full.
I think I'll be biased towards that too.
I just want to make a point. So so where is the justice, Mr. Justice? Where is it? But there's a point. There's more point I want to make. All of a sudden, we are seeing a big involvement of women, of wives in these things. Remember, previously the women were almost at the background. We've never, in fact, if you look at almost like all the 7 high-profile NDC people that I've mentioned that they were tried, we didn't see their wives. What is with the NDC people and their wives? We don't love your wives. Your wives don't love good things. What? Why? Why? All of a sudden, the women are showing up. We said we want a lot of women in the politics, so the women are showing up. So it's show you something. You don't love your women so much. You didn't involve them. But these people, the MPP guys are showing that they are very romantic and they are their wives. The point I'm making is this.
Don't romanticize corruption.
I'm not romanticizing corruption. I don't know. I've made my substantive points. All of a sudden, they are seeing the role of women.
We need to know.
What role is this?
I don't know.
Example.
She's saying that all these crimes were done with the active support of the wife.
Okay.
In the
National Security.
Against all, we need students of politics. We need to begin to study what is happening, just like he said about the guardrails and the lack of guardrails, that we need to explore more. We need to also begin to explore this more. What is happening? Is the landscape changing? And how is it changing? That right now, we are seeing that the Attorney General is making claims. Again, presumptions of innocence. They are only stand to prove guilty. But there's something happening. And again, Minister of Justice, prove that you are a Minister of Justice and not just a Minister of NDC. Prove that you can, if you can give people purely prosecute, do the same here. That's justice. That's fairness.
But he's not, the people haven't even been found guilty yet. So you're asking for...
But it's the same with the null prosecutors. They've not been found guilty. He gave them. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same.
Can I have my bite?
Have your time.
No, you won't have your bite. You are done. He's done for you.
First of all, let's put it on record. The Attorney General never in his presentation stated that he is against plea bargaining. He was very specific. He said that Wontumi had proposed to him a plea bargain.
Private.
Said no. Because of the propaganda and the history of presentation, make it open in the court. Say it in the court, and so that my name, which has been mentioned as to be cutting deals behind closed doors, would be cleansed. Plea bargaining is acceptable in the rules of engagement. So he never said. I mean, I took my time to listen to the whole press briefing because of the quantum of money that is involved. Emefa, what you have on your screens is in dollars and in cedis, and you see, when you have put all together, Doug, we are talking about almost 50 million Ghana cedis, depending on the rate you use.
And that's just what is known.
We are talking about 50 million Ghana cedis. This is just what is known, what has been listed.
There's 10 million.
Even my fear was the boldness to even go and buy a house in chain homes where the president lives. See, sometimes as a young man, when you are doing things, you actually do it with an iota of fear that you do not want to be seen rubbing shoulders with the elders. The boldness to go to chain homes and go and buy a house. My dream, anyway. But Emefa, there is something that we need to deal with fundamentally. When we were unveiling the name of our political party, the United Party, my interim leader, Alan Tremantin, made a statement. And when you box it all together, the party is being built or being moved on 3 main wheels. I mean, there are a lot, but when you build them together, that's what it is. Number 1 is integrity. Number 2 is discipline. Number 3 is ethical leadership. And when you break the ethical leadership down, we are talking about honesty, we are talking about selflessness and service to the people, we are talking about patriotism. You understand me? Emefa, where lies all of this in you as a Ghanaian citizen? If this comes out to be true. And, Senior, you are from CDD. I think that the civic society organizations are not doing us some good to an extent. when the political parties are campaigning and they are presenting their manifestos to the country, I would want to propose that you pin them to the wall for them to specifically mention in line of governance how to deal with issues of corruption practically. We presented a copy of our Great Transformational Plan to your office. Under corruption, we had stated that we would amend the existing asset declaration rules to strengthen and also to disclose and introduce new forms of asset tracking and recovery, including but not limited to instruments such as lifestyle audit. This is in the Great Transformational Plan. And I dare the NDC and the NPP to state practically if they have any of such in their manifestos. When we...
You have introduced nearly something that's mirroring this or not, you know. It's not particularly a lifestyle audit, but the code of conduct.
The code of conduct seeks to validate almost what he is.
That was why I was very particular about my choice of words.
You want a specific...
There should be specifications. No. Please. Okay. There should be specifications where you become a CEO, a deputy CEO, and in less than a year or 2 or 4, let's assume, then you are already driving luxurious cars. The NSS saga, when it came up, I was in a barbering salon when the barber was shaving me. Now call NSS where cars will move chikran and see intimate. You understand me? Lifestyle audit. A person who could not afford probably an ordinary what we all putting on now wears very expensive, and they do not do it in hiding, with impunity to our faces. They become party executives and they now begin to hold purses with brand names that they couldn't have afforded even if they are being paid for 4 years.
Are we about to throw the baby away with the bathwater? The purses that have brand names, as in... like
you are here, you can't afford 1,000 Ghana cedis back. You have become a CEO or a party executive within 3 years, 4 years. You are already holding a purse that is in the ranges of $10,000 to $20,000. I mean, no, let's be real. Anyway, you are riding in economy and premium economy like me.
Have you ever taken a flight with MFA before?
All of a sudden,
rise in the economy.
All of a sudden, you are already not even business class. You are now doing in first class. No, let's be real.
I don't work for any.
You see, the issue about personal integrity.
Yeah.
Personal integrity should be on the top. What we want to do with issues of corruption.
It's very surprising for somebody like the CEO of a buffer stock to own all these properties if eventually they're confirmed. Of course, we've got to take the Attorney General's words.
I was going to come to that briefly.
Some people say that. Some people say that as a country, so business can is strange.
Yeah.
No, nobody, me, I'm a Christian, I've stated it. I am not against the blessings of God. But you see, I stated here, I think on Saturday, I said most of these crimes we are seeing are organized crimes, which were unintelligently executed.
Okay.
Just to land on to this, please give them time, give me time. See, the Auditor General and the articles in our Constitution and the acts that deals with issues of audit and their reports should be amended. Why do I say this? There are some of the crimes and some of these corrupt activities that are so much clear that there is no need for any further investigations. I'll give you an example. You go to face the Public Accounts Committee. Mm-hmm. Somebody dies. You attend the person's funeral. You give funeral donations. The person's whatever entitlement has been paid. And you, the accountant, the finance director, and the heads of the institution, you are still validating that ghost to be receiving salary. MFA, do we need any further investigation to give such a person a summary dismissal and to freeze his assets?
Unfortunately, that's what our laws look like.
I mean, I can.
But
you think if you're mad at the Constitution that's right in front
One
of
of
you.
the biggest problems is when we start off by saying God's blessings. What is the definition of God's blessings? I am a Christian too, but let us stop these things. It is what people have done to perpetuate their crimes in the name of God. So you go and commit a crime, they even do that, and it is the reason why in the church they are even adored and given the front rows. So
how can a
we don't know
be made a chairman of a house?
Yes. So we don't know the source. We don't know the source of your fund. But once you come to church and you are saying, I'm sponsoring this, I'm sponsoring that, they do. And they commit such crimes, then they go to church thanking God for blessing them.
Okay.
And you see, look, I frown so much on these things and don't want to hear even God being mentioned in it. It has no relationship with God at all. At all, at all. Look, I know Gifty Oware, for instance. I have known her when we were in opposition. And the buffer stock man as well. Look, even if she was my sister, I will ask the Lord to be very strict and jail her so it serves as a serious deterrent to any other person. Look, as a parent, as a young person, I feel so worried that politics has become so attractive to the young people, not because they want to solve problems, because they feel it is the shortest route to making money. And we must look at this. If it is not dealt with under this regime, and that is why I'm happy that President Mahama, the judicial system will sit up and they will not feel intimidated. They will feel so free and dispatch justice.
What would you say to people who are saying that you're going ahead of the finality of the case?
No, look.
You're hoping that she's killed, but
yes,
again, we refer to
well, it is up to her to eventually come and prove beyond every reasonable doubt that they are not corrupt or they are. Look, these are no jokes. These things we are talking about are no jokes. These are no jokes at all. These are people who look us in the face. And I said this same thing about Cecilia Dapa. These are people who, when even the poor go to for just school fees, they can pay school fees of even 50,000 people outright. But when you go to them for even 500 cities, they will say, and then they give you 100 cities.
But
and
in
because
the case of the Cecilia Dapa, it's good that you brought
yes,
up. We saw huge sums of monies being said in this particular case, and yet where we are.
And we know what happened. Was that not the same time when the president at the time wrote a perceived love letter to her, almost trying to exonerate her? It's the same thing he did to Akonta Mining, saying he believes Wontumi doesn't engage in any illegality. And
because the lawyer, the president was a lawyer before president.
Let me say two things quickly. The Attorney General never, Nanaya already said it, but let me reiterate it because I'm here. The Attorney General never said that he was not ready to agree terms with these people. He was only saying that considering your posturing and the things you were saying, and if you recall, I think not long ago, Wontumi and I even he wrote some letter to me trying to discount why he called me and all of that. And I said, look, I have never communicated with you. After I went for that raid in Summerboy, you called me saying you are Wontumi, you disagree with what I wrote. Okay, but when am I coming to Kumasi? To hell with you. You are not my friend. I don't know you and I don't want to meet you. To meet you in Kumasi for what?
He has admitted calling you, but he has said that.
That is how corruption starts.
But he admitted.
So when I now go to Kumasi and meet him, we will sit and talk, drink. Obviously, he will pay for the drink. Then when I'm leaving, he said, Charlie, I am not.
You are assuming.
Yes, that is how it is. That is how it is.
Okay.
So you see, if you're not corrupt and all that, why are you now trying to, in the quiet, behind closed doors, want to negotiate a bargain plea? So the Attorney General is only saying that.
His lawyers have come out to say that they haven't.
Well, if you haven't, that's good. Let's assume it is not. You see, I am so happy that this matter, I know, would get to its conclusion. In the case of this nulli prosequi, etc., you were talking about, matters that you had 8 years and could not prosecute, you want the state to even continue with this matter. When the Attorney General has now realized that these are frivolous and supposed political agenda to just either denigrate or prolong a certain, and you couldn't even achieve that.
If I just a quick one.
Please let me stay on this for a minute. So, if the Attorney General believes that these were just frivolous, charges against the people that he has released based on nolly prosecuted, the people were attending to courts every time. The courts never saw any of them as quite frivolous.
But and over 8 years alone, what does that
But
even
you have
tell you?
just told me that the wheels of justice grind quite slowly.
I understand that, and I have not taken that out. But that is why I'm saying that for 8 years, let me tell you, one fact we must admit here, 8 years is more than enough time to prosecute anybody
So
for
why
whatever
didn't the
crime.
Attorney General, of course, and when we say why didn't, we're just thinking aloud because he still will be working with the confines of the Constitution. But again, we would ask, why didn't the Attorney General just say that, well, if some people had 8 years to do this and they couldn't do it, I am going to take it upon myself to do it and see if I can do it faster.
Good. It is because within the 8 years, Attorney General would have gone through the documents now and realized that, look, you are just chasing the whirlwind. There's absolutely nothing to go after over these. And so,
but if you agree on a certain percentages of payments, there's an admission of a crime.
No, but you see, it is not necessarily crime. You may have done some maladministration or some other acts in one way or the other that may have constituted to a breach. It is different from committing a crime that is seen to be, I don't know what term to use.
Okay, maybe I withdraw the term crime, but wouldn't it be an admission of the act per which you're being accused of?
So if, for instance, let's assume that I misapply a fund, there's absolutely nothing wrong for me to be asked to
surcharges
to be surcharged if it is seen that there's a way that can be refunded, like when he said that JP. What was the name of the
plan? If Gift Your Worry
paid an excess of 2 million.
Can we impute the same method with Gift Your Worry?
Exactly. Yes, we can, and in 2 ways. Let me tell you.
What?
But hold on. Let me just answer. If in the case of Gift Your Worry, it is even found that it is crime and that money is with her, first she must be asked to refund the money, but it doesn't vitiate the criminality. So the case of criminality will still be pursued. In fact, I recall an instance of my own self where my phone got missing. In fact, it fell from my car. And there was this guy who took it. I called him, pleading with him that I needed the phone. He could make calls and all. He was tossing me around. Eventually, I managed to get hold of him. Because I was then working at one of the telcos. I called him and lied to him that, hey, I'm calling you from so and so. You have won a raffle. Please come to the office for this, that. Because I traced the calls he made. And then eventually asked him, when you are coming, wear this color of dress and so that we'll give you a motorbike and car you've won. He came over there and we apprehended him. We took him there. I requested for my phone. Somebody also stole the phone from him again. And he was made to pay. After he was paid, I was being asked if I still want to pursue the criminal case against him. And that was it. So yes, they must be made to refund. And since assets will be frozen, and you see the painful thing is that these are even the only ones we know. The ones we don't know may even be so this may just be the tip of the iceberg. People look this country in the face, and loot this country to their singular benefits. And we are all struggling, saying that we don't have money and all that.
Would go to the National Cathedral.
The issue of the cases that involve politically exposed persons at a very higher ranks, because some are not so high ranks, it is a test of Ghana's commitment to equal justice. I said it yesterday or so on a platform. I said that if any of these cases, like that of Ken Oforiatta, if I was the one in the US or wherever, by now, I would have been brought to this country.
Yeah. Okay.
If it were me that had gone to Makola Market to go and steal cassava, just to survive.
Maybe because you don't have the resources to hire
That's
lawyers.
That's what I'm saying. That my inability not to have resources to hire good lawyers or to hire lawyers does not deny me justice. So it is a test of Ghana's commitment to equal justice, no matter who is involved.
Okay.
We are seeing these things and doing a lot of media engagement. I was engaged with this gentleman, Sami Dakun, of OSP,
yes,
on some of these issues. And I said that if it was another person, we will not have all these technicalities being thrown about.
Okay.
Let us watch it.
Is that Dr. Zato?
Yeah, you see,
quickly, well, I'd like us to move to the National Cathedral because the OSP...
when people talk about the fact that the cases were in court for 8 years, then I ask, how long will these cases be in court? You don't know. What I understand is that an Attorney General goes to court, files his case. How long the case is doesn't depend on the Attorney General. I don't think any attorney general will want his case to run for that long. It be tested on the court. So that's so to use the longevity of a case as a justification for giving your political friends a sweetheart deal doesn't work out. Two, and Nana Yao just hit on the point. Most of the, I mean, if you are accused of stealing $1 million, that means that you can afford to hire the most expensive and the best legal defense in the country. You can. And these lawyers, that's how they make their money. That's how they make their name. They also then understand dictate, and I said this somewhere yesterday, they also game the system. So right now, if I'm one of these accused people, I will get the best lawyers money can buy in this country, and I will game the system, hoping that the case goes for 8 years. And then they all go for 4 years. If the government leave, they don't leave, go for 8 years. Then my people will come and so give me another prosecution. That has been the process. What I'm saying is that we have made this process so predictable that accused persons can game that system. We've made it predictable. That we know that immediately a change of attorney general happened, because that's what just happened. You don't go and throw away all that amount of money, and now you're coming to chase all this money. So the question we ask is, what happened to all that money that these people were told that they did? The
attorney general has been telling you that I cannot get all of it, but I can get physically this.
So in those deals, the knowledge prosecutors, why didn't he even, in some of the cases, he didn't even get anything?
Is Gregory Afoko?
Some of those people, he didn't even get a dime. He just let it go. That's the point I'm making. Now, coming back to this.
Is Gregory Afoko?
That's the point I'm saying. I pray and hope that...
just draw your attention to
Gregory
one person that enjoyed
I pray and hope that...
Let me give you
I pray and hope that an attorney general and that accountability works.
Okay. By way of update, I'm certain that you may have heard, but the Giftewari case by now in the National Service Authority as of October yesterday is that she was granted bail of 10 million Ghana cedis with 3 sureties by the Accra High Court. She, of course, pleaded not guilty to 5 charges, including stealing, willfully causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, and abuse of public office related to ghost name payroll fraud scandal at the NSA. Now, originally, the amount involved was reported as 653 million Ghana cedis, but recent forensic audit reports from the Attorney General's Department revealed that the amount of the National Service payroll fraud has increased significantly to 2.2 billion Ghana cedis. This is far higher than the initially reported figures, and that's just by way of update. But let's talk about the National Cathedral. Of course, the Attorney General didn't say much. He only drew our attention to the fact that he had given the auditor to the auditor's report. He's given the Auditor General to provide them after 6 weeks a report, a forensic audit, and that I think we've done about 4, nearly about 4. He's expecting to get the final report in the next 2 weeks. What are your expectations, Elikim?
Well, let me be frank with you. If wishes were horses, I would be happy to see even President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo being hauled to the court to answer for that hole he dug, which seemed to be an organized crime unit that he set up to siphon or launder state funds.
That's an interesting allegation.
Yes. I mean, this is, look, our neighbor, Cote d'Ivoire, what's the name? Ofoe-Boigny. When he was in his room and had a prayer with his God that he wanted to build for him a place of worship, he did that with private funds. Then President Akufo-Addo, when in opposition, said he was going to build, he has promised God. He even promised God to do that, and which meant it was a promise to be fulfilled in the first 4 years because you were not assured of your second term. And this is somebody who could scam even God. And this is, look. I am a young person, and I found so much on elderly people not holding in fidelity the virtues that we thought they were supposed to hand over to us. This whole National Cathedral thing was another avenue to just scam this entire nation, use some of the religious, the very notable religious leaders, and it's been splashed in most of their faces because they spoke so well of this, they were so convinced. Some of them said not a peso of public funds will be used. And one of the people who I perceive to be criminal, let me say it, one of the people I perceive to be criminal, the finance minister, is at large over there. You recall if you go to even a Sipon Stadium, at the time he read budget, he told us that rehabilitation work there was 90%. A toddler who visits that place will let you know that not even 5% work was done over there up to date. And they're working scot-free. And when you talk of this National Cathedral, President Nana Addo only used our vulnerability as a people that in anything we mention God, we are careful how we react. We are careful how we criticize. So he used God to scam all of us. And I would look forward to a day. I think the Constitution states the period within which he can be a president or a former president can be. I pray that this is dealt with the speed of light. So that it serves as a deterrent, not to him or the NPP, to the NDC and every Ghanaian, that it doesn't matter who you are. When you involve yourself in such manner of scam, of corruption, of such magnitude, you ought to be dealt with. Look, within the past 8 years, it has become so evident that many individuals have become wealthier than even the state.
At least for this report, we still have about a little over a week to wait.
And, yes, and we are all ready to wait, because I am looking forward to that day. That place, we pull down buildings and various offices and all of that. And today, what has happened? 8 years. He was able to even scam God. That is somebody who believed that he is such a confident trickster, he can even scam all of us. Well, and if we don't take this matter up seriously, I have
3 more minutes, and I'm just going to spread it across. Doc, I'd give you a minute. Dr. Zato, you'd have a minute. And
I'm sorry I took all your time. I'll be ready to take more of yours if you give me.
Some of the hang on. Dr. Zato, hang on. Utichi, nyabuti. Utichi.
I don't.
Dr. Papo, please.
Hey, you.
So for me, again, all of these issues are part of the demand for accountability and the demand for answers. In the case of the National Cathedral, I recall that when the decision became public, there was a court case, right, that said, look, this may violate the separation of church and state. It was the first time that you got this idea of what church and state means within the Ghanaian context. Yeah. And the court actually said, look, if this is all about the government, just the state providing land for this project, then we really don't see how this violates the separation of church and state. So as time went on, it became very, intriguing to see that it moved from the state would just provide land, the state would just provide some seed funding, to now the state making very substantial investments in the project. Yeah. And ultimately, there has to be some answers to certain questions of at what point and why did the state decide to expand its involvement in the project that it assured the Supreme Court that all we are doing is just providing land to support a project like that.
Okay, very well said. Dr. Zato, you have your time.
Yes, thank you.
And it's a minute. Have you seen how Dr. Kwapuan has done it?
When it comes to some of these cases, the lies that the NDC told, the house that the NDC built with lies is collapsing. And it's collapsing because most of it was lies. I heard the Deputy Attorney General is saying something. National Cathedral is about priorities. They believe that. Right now, the argument is that, or was it he or one of them, I don't want to misquote somebody, saying that there was not a crime, it was about priorities. At a time when the country, we didn't have, we always say we don't have food, we don't have water, and you are doing it. If it is about priorities or wrong priorities, then that's a different argument. Because that is, I heard one of them say that.
What about the fact that he wanted to do it and yet
exactly.
He ended up being the one
again, my point is that you can criticize him for prioritizing it. But that to move from there to saying there was corruption are two different things. They have been audits. Remember when this government, they did an audit. The audit was published. If there were financial malfeasances in the audit, why aren't they hauled before court by now? There was an audit. Now we are talking, there's another audit. Remember, so we are now coming to audit the auditing of the audit that was done.
Which is not surprising, is it?
I'm not saying it is. The point I'm making is this. You are looking for something. It's not there. You can say it was a wrong priority. I don't know how you do. But the question then becomes, who determines priority? Who determines national priority? Here, the national interest and national priority are determined by the President of the Republic of Ghana. He determines what is national priority. In this case, he has determined that it's a national priority to go to Parliament as a state of certificate of emergency to pass D-levy and not to pass LGBTQ. He has decided that. He has decided that it's a state emergency to go to Parliament to pass, holiday bill, but not to repeal, not to declare state of emergency. He is the one declaring what is the national interest. That was what the president did. Agree with him or disagree with him.
So you think that whatever it is, whatever reports that will come, it will vindicate?
No, I'm saying we've already seen reports. And
So
those
there's
reports
nothing
have so
there again. They're
far
only
said,
fishing.
no, what the reports have said is that so far, there is no crime. That's the point I'm making. Now, the president, this thing is now hanging on the neck of the president like an albatross, like a sword of Damocles. He had a choice to make. Turn the place into a disco, turn it into a nightclub, turn it into a pito drinking bar, turn it into whatever you want to do. You have a choice. What are you going to do with this? His Excellency, the former president, was clear. I want to build a house to the glory of God here. But he didn't build it. But God knows his heart. That was his promise. You don't want to. You said you don't want to build it. What are you going to do with it? Because posterity will judge. You are talking about future. Posterity will judge. Here was a president who said he wanted to build this house to the glory of God. He didn't accomplish it. And here was the president who came. What did you do with it? So tell us what you are going to do with it and stop this.
Let's wait for that report.
Exactly. No. We should wait for what the president will do with it. What that report
wait for the report.
You must do something with that hole. What are you going to do with it? Tell us. We need to know. Want to know. The people of God want to know.
If you read the book of 2 Samuel chapter 7.
We are not in change. Stop quoting. We are not in change.
That is where David, I remember, made a promise to God to build him a house. And if you read the account of David very well, he said that he will not build or give unto anything unto God that will not cost him. I believe that all of us as Ghanaians have come to agree that it was a personal commitment by then candidate Akufo-Addo to build a temple unto God as a means of saying thank you. And for that matter, it was a private promise. And I also recall that when this whole Cathedral thing had started, even Ken Ofori-Atta had stated that no single dime of government resources was going to be spent. When that parcel of land was chosen, I raised a question. I said that is government property. We actually pulled down houses where judges were living in. And we went and we were renting houses for these judges at in excess of $2,000 or so a month, if I recall. Then I asked the question, is that not government money? Why would you take government's money to execute a project that you have privately, in your own closet, just like David, promised God? So, in as much as I'm a Christian, I would love to have a national cathedral, because anytime I drive past the national mosque, I get jealous. I get jealous because they have a beautiful edifice, which has also become something like a tourist center, because I have entered into it, I have toured in it, and I have loved what they have. I would love to have one for myself as a Christian. But if you promise to do it as a private individual, you do not take government's money to execute such a project.
I bet we'll always for
and you see,
reports and
he's not the first.
Would we be able to even get
he's not the first politician who has made such a promise to God in that manner. I have even heard the presentation of some temples and some church buildings to Assemblies of God and to other churches by other politicians. You use your private money to execute. There is nothing wrong. If you have private individuals
you've made that point,
who are able to build hospitals and orphanages and present to communities, there is nothing wrong if a president decides to build a church, but not with our money.
Well,
and that has to be investigated.
Thank you,
because
gentlemen.
There are elements of money laundering.
Well, thank you so much.
There are elements of money laundering in that project.
I do not think that report. I do not think that report was meant to criminalize it, because it's not the duty of a report to establish.
I mean, Zato would always.
I do not agree to that. But thank you for. I'm sure it has been quite a good breakfast on the review. You want to stay with us? There's so much on the show, gentlemen. Thank you for returning for the stable for the review.
Thank you.
Okay.
And at least that.
Welcome welcome back to the AM show. Let's talk about something that is of interest to all of us. You know what? When it comes to the GIPC, the Ghana Investment Promotion, it's not council, it's a center, huh? In terms of all the foreign direct investment we have in this country, it comes as a result of the programs and activities of this particular center. So today, we have an interaction with them to understand what is up on their sleeves. And I've been joined in the studio by Kwame Kese Ejapon. He is Deputy Director and Head of Investment Promotion and Business Development Division. Kwame, good morning. Thanks for coming. Ernest Agbeko is Principal Investment Promotion Officer of GIPC. Ernest, good morning.
Good morning.
And then we have a woman, Zainabu Issa is the Public Relations Officer. Let me start with you, Kwame Kese. Now, I mean, in terms of this regional investment roadshow, what is about?
Okay. Thank you so much for having us, and good morning to your viewers and our listeners. So the Regional Investment Roadshow was born out of a need for us to be able to identify investment opportunities across the country. Now, from our data, we realized that most of the investments that come into the country are centered around Accra and Kumasi, a few going to Takrade. So it's skewed towards these particular regions. But we thought it wise to try and spread the opportunities, highlight the opportunities that are available across all the regions of the country. So we came up with a program called the Investment Opportunity Mapping Project. This project, which was launched earlier this year, seeks to identify investment opportunities in all 261 districts of the country.
Okay.
So we plan to go and identify projects in all of these districts. And when we do identify these projects, we want to highlight and market these projects. We want to be able to bring these projects up to bankability so that should investors, both foreign and domestic, be willing or interested in investing in these projects, they can contact us, we'll link them up to the project sponsors, and then they go and do business. We hope that this will bring out all the hidden treasures across all the regions in the country. So these roadshows will go across all 16 regions and highlight the opportunities in all the 16 regions of the country. Opportunities also in all the districts under these regions. That's what we seek to do.
So the focus is to identify the raw material advantage in the district?
Yes, so each district has its own peculiar advantages. And some districts are rich in natural resources, some very good agric farms, some agric land, some water, logistics. So for each region, there will be a forum that showcases the peculiarity of the region, that showcases the investment opportunities in those regions. And we'll create a stage for the region to be highlighted and drive attention to that region, that this region also stands out. Like we are starting with the Volta region. Come and look at the Volta region. Come and look at the opportunities across the whole Volta region.
Tourism will be high, I guess.
Yes. So that is what we are seeking to do.
Now, I see that the theme is driving local investment, unlocking regional potential. How does this event ensure that local businesses and people are at the forefront of the benefit, and not just say people that we're going to take advantage of and then we leave them?
Oh, no. So we at the GIPC have often been accused of being very foreign-oriented, but our mandate is for both foreign and domestic investments. So we want to encourage and assist local businesses, like you're talking about, to be able to scale up their projects. Some of them have very good ideas, very good projects that they are doing, and are looking for some capital. They are looking for some shareholders to inject some money into it. So that's what this project wants to do, go down to the district level. The very ordinary businessman who has a project that they are doing already, or those who have ideas that they want to undertake, and they are just looking for some assistance or to be able to, as it were, grow up the businesses. So this project is targeted at the local businessman to help highlight and bring out the opportunities right from the district level. And then we'll give them the chance also to showcase these projects and these opportunities that they have.
So if this person even has a business idea,
yes,
based on the resources available,
yes,
he or she can take advantage of this.
Yes.
And he or she will be given that support that he needs.
Yes.
Really?
We are going to help them with their ideas, with their documents. We are going to help them package the project and to bring it up to bankability.
Okay.
They have the ideas, but some investors will look at it and may not see the business case. But then with our help, with our assistance, we bring the project to what we call bankability. Okay. And it makes it easier for investors to identify and seek or generate interest in this project.
So, because this is an interesting thing. I'm loving it already. But let's look at how the implementation plan is like. How do you intend to go about the implementation of this idea?
Yes, thank you very much. We are starting with an investment forum that's on Tuesday, 28th of October at the University of Health and Allied Sciences. UHAS at Ho. And aside the investment forum, we are going to have media engagements. We are also going to visit some exciting projects that exist in Volta region that a lot of people are not aware of. Also, we are going to have matchmaking. We are inviting our development finance assistants who have been supporting us with our development to also be there. So it's not just going to be those who have projects, those who have opportunities to showcase. We are also bringing the financiers on board. So aside these activities, we'll also, on the following day, which is the Wednesday, we'll also go to projects, individual projects within the Volta region. After that, on the 30th, which is the Thursday, we will move to Dambai in Oti region at the Bosachu Hotel. That's on Thursday, 30th October. We'll go there and also have an investment forum. Aside this investment forum, we are also going to replicate these activities we did in the Volta region. We are going to replicate the same activities in the Oti region. We are going to have matchmaking, and we are also going to visit exciting projects in the Oti region.
Yes. But I'm curious, right? Why did we decide that the Volta and Oti region should be the first regions to be the ones for us to start this? And what is in marketing, you call it what? The best-selling proposition, how we call it. Yeah. What is that of the two regions that the investors would have to clamor for them?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, President Kwame Nkrumah has always envisioned these regions as the agriculture and industrial backbone of the country, and we want to reignite that vision. When you look at the Volta region, for instance, the story has always been agriculture and logistics. The region is blessed with fertile lands and the vast Volta Lake. And when you look at the region, agriculture employs about 60% of the people in that region. And the Volta region like this, they are top producers of cassava, whilst the Oti region, they excel in yam and cashew. But however, investments in these areas have been very low. That's why at GIPC, we want to leverage this roadshow to showcase these opportunities that exist in agribusiness, aquaculture, in tourism, in renewable energy and logistics. So we are moving beyond just growing rice and yam and creating a value-added products which can be exported for more foreign exchange. Also, when you talk about the Oti region, although it excels in quality yam production and cashew, the real game changer is the recent confirmation of iron ore in commercial quantities. And exploration has shown that this grade can be one of the best in West Africa. So we want to give this opportunity to investors to come and create the entire value chain from processing plants to when it comes domestically. We want an ore and steel industries which we can leverage on to get a lot more foreign exchange for these regions.
Let me bring in Zainab here. Zainab, what outcomes do you anticipate and who can even be part? I guess it's open, right?
Okay, yes, thank you very much. As already mentioned, as already discussed, the whole project, in fact, the main focus of us going about this project is to have a pipeline of projects or activities that we can put together into a handbook. Basically, the essence of us doing the work, as Kwame mentioned earlier, is under a project that we launched this year, which is a investment opportunity mapping project. So the regional roadshow is a component under this project. So the aim is to get a data of projects that we can put it together into a document and then maybe give it to these municipal and district chief executive officers and then the regional ministers, the MPs as well, so that wherever they find themselves, any opportunity that they get to market the country or meet with any business potential investors, they let them know what potential their own regions or their constituencies have that they can help us sell. What we have observed at the back end in the center is that we've had a lot of requests from investors. We have people that have the money, but they are asking, what are the investment opportunities that are available? Where can I go and put my money into? And we've observed over the years that most of the investment that we have are centered within the capital cities, maybe in Greater Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, where they feel that, oh, when they set up here, they get a quick turnaround in their investment and then they go. But then we know that aside these regional capitals, there are important or other opportunities within these districts. So we are using this program to get there on the ground, ask them. So it's better you go to them and let them know what they have than to assume at our back end that this is what the districts or the constituencies will have to offer. So we are asking them to submit these projects to us. Let us know that, okay, in this area, maybe in Keta, what we know, what we are known for, or what we can do here, maybe, for instance, they are into fishing or they are into farming. Let us know what is the whole project about. If it's a project that you need somebody to come and put in $1 million, put that together into a document, or we will help you to put it together into a document, as Kwame earlier mentioned, and then have it ready, so that when we have an inquiry, or when we have somebody say that, okay, I have this money, I want to go into agriculture, or when we are giving this investment advice to people that come to us to say that I want to set up my business in Ghana, where should I go? We can have these documents ready and then let them know that, okay, you can go here, you can go there, you can, invest your money here, and then also let them know the kind of incentives that the center gives, looking at where you want to position your businesses. So yes, these are the things that we are looking for. And then we are targeting the traditional authorities, most importantly, because it is their area that an investor is coming to set up. They need to understand why the investor is setting up in that area, what kind of opportunity that the people within the community are going to benefit from when such businesses are set up within their enclaves. And then we are also speaking to the MMDCs. They are the ones, more like the ones, the miniature government within those areas. So they need to understand what the GIPC is doing, because they'll be like our face. We want to set up maybe a miniature GIPC within these district assemblies, so that they would then also help us educate the investor or educate the businesses about the reasons why. Because sometimes an investor can come and set up in an area, and because people are not really aware or they don't understand why the thing is there are sometimes some issues that come up. But when they understand and we are all in agreement as to why businesses are set up in it, everybody will get to benefit, because at the end of the day, all that we are doing is for everyone to benefit from. It's for the Ghanaian. And so we need to do it in such a way that everyone understands, everyone gets involved. So yes, we are doing with the traditional authorities. We are also targeting businesses within Ghana, even those who are set up in Accra. Some people would want to, expand their business outside Accra into these regions. So we are asking them to join us on this roadshow. Come and see what these regions also have to offer. See the potentials and say that, okay, I think I want to move from maybe establishing or setting myself in Accra and then position myself maybe in the Volta region, set up a small office in Oti, because there are certain services that I think I can offer. So then we kind of open up the business. So it's not everything centered within Accra, but then it's also expanded to other cities and regions as well.
That will be quite detailed, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so when are you going to go to the Western region? Because I'm interested in this. When are you going to go?
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, it's a regional roadshow. We are it's going to be a year-long activity. So we are first starting with the Volta and Oti regions. Once we are done with this, we'll be going to the Western region as well. So
are we the next after Volta and Oti?
Yes, we are looking at it. You are definitely the next after Volta and Oti. Okay. So we'll be doing that in Volta and Oti. We'll be going to the northern regions as well. Every region in this country, all 16 regions are going to have an experience of this roadshow. So we are asking them to get ready for us. If you are listening, if you had any projects or any business idea that you have available that you think that you need to have GIPC there, somebody has to help you to look at it, because one of our mandates is to help facilitate. And then so we are ready, we are there, the office is there, government has set us up to help businesses to, scale up so that we can, because we are always saying that promoting ourselves to be the best investment destination in Africa. So we can only reach there when people come to us. We have offices in all regions. We are in Kumasi, we are in Takoradi, we are in Tamale. We are, in fact, as part of the regional investment roadshow in the Volta region, we are going to be opening up our regional office in the Volta region. So it means that we are trying to expand our work to the regions as well. So we are asking, you know, them, if you are listening, if you have it ready, we'll be coming to your region, but send it to us. Let's try and help you package. And
they can send it ahead of time.
Yeah, they can send it ahead of time.
How do they do it? How can
they can send? You can send your project to our email, info@gipc.gov.gh. I'll repeat that again, info@gipc.gov.gh. Send your project to us. The team will assess it. We'll get in touch with you. We are very responsive. We'll get in touch with you, and then if there's any questions or further information that we need, we'll reach out to you to give us further details on that. So we are saying that GIPC is open. We are not, as Kwame earlier mentioned, we are only not focused on foreign investors. In fact, the locals are our main interest.
Because we will keep the money.
Yes, we will keep the money here. So we are asking that reach out to us. Our office is open. We are very responsive on socials. Reach out to us. Any question that you need, anything that you want answered within your business, and just come to us, and then we'll help you provide that info.
I guess this is big.
Yes.
So you're not doing it alone. What are the other collaborating agencies that you're working with?
Thank you. In fact, we are happy, and I'm happy to say that we have the honor of doing this with the Office of the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, who has given us his support since the beginning of the launch of the Investment Opportunity Mapping Project. He was there in person. We had other agencies, the World Bank, the GIZ, who were also present. And then we are also doing this in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness. The ministry has been very supportive when we started this, and we thank them for their support. We're also doing this with GEPA. We are having free zones also coming on board. We also have the GEA also on board, and then other developmental agencies that are also here. But then we are also asking that, the project is big, and once it's going to be a year-long activity, we are also open to corporate bodies joining us and then giving us some sponsorship. So we are asking them to also come on board, help us, and then to do this project and execute it to the best of our ability.
Gentlemen and lady, thank you all for coming on our show.
Thanks for having us.
So you heard from Kwame Kese Japan. He is Deputy Director and Head of Investment Promotion at the Business Development Division of GIPC. Mr. Ernest Agbeko is Principal Investment Promotion Officer at GIPC, and Zainabu Isa is the Public Relations Officer. We'll take a short break here. We will be back, as well as bring you what's happening in the science, the National Science and Maths quiz happening in Cape Coast this day. All right. Now, are our homes really safe? Are we building the future or building risks? Across many communities, poor construction practices and unclear land ownership have led to unsafe buildings and an ending legal dispute. Join us at 3 p.m. today at the Accra International Conference Center for an eye-opening seminar on housing safety, substandard constructions, and the legal landscape of land acquisition. Lead speakers include Dr. James Olins-Lindsay. He is president of Ghana Real Estate Developers and the CEO of JL Properties. It will also feature lawyer Kwame Jan for him to take you through all of that. Be there. It's part of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, so that we can give you that education to help you make the right decisions. But let's come on and talk about the Association for Development of Education in Africa at DEA Triennial 2025. And I have with me in studio Dr. Sam Ewuku. He is Education and Development Consultant. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Now, what is IDEA Triennial 2025?
Thank you very much. Before I go into that, I just want to take this opportunity to thank Ghana government, represented by Ministry of Education, ably led by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, for agreeing to host the IDEA Triennial 2025. This is the third in the series. The first held in Senegal in 2012.
Okay.
Then Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, 2017. Because of COVID, there was a break. And then 2022 held in Mauritius. And this year we are in Accra, Ghana.
This is the fourth.
This is the third one.
The third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the third one, triennial, being held in Accra, Ghana. Now, the focus for this is to bring African ministers together to, one, take a stock of the previous triennial, what was agreed, to learn from each other, and to also galvanize commitment to create enabling, resilient education system that prepare young people for work. And underpinning this is what kind of skills do we want our young people to have that will be relevant to our continent and beyond the continent. You know that on the continent at the moment, we have 60% of our young people under 25, meaning globally we are one of the youngest continents. How do we ensure that these young people are prepared for work? We know that unemployment, underemployment is a critical issue, a security issue as well for the continent. So how do we make sure our education system is resilient enough to prepare these young people so that the pandemic like COVID coming, education will still go on? What's happened in the past? COVID came, schools were closed. If that will come again, how prepared are we as a continent to actually make sure that our young people are learning so that they don't become liability but access to the continent? I think that is the focus for this triennial. And
so the ministers are just ministers of education or any other?
So mainly the ministers of education. At the moment, you have 26 of them who are coming. Then we have technocrats or technical people from the ministries who have private individuals also coming, private sector individuals. These are people who are education providers, people who provide technology and all of that. They will also be part of this particular conference. I was going to talk about, if we talk about resilient education system as a focus for this particular triennial, what are the other areas we need to look at? That's what I want to talk about now, so people can actually whet their appetite. For
so you can use the minute to do that.
Yes. So we have about 8 different themes, but I'll just summarize quickly the key ones. So we all know that education financing is very important. And it's not only getting the money or investing the money. How do we invest the money wisely? How do we actually, make our financing very relevant to the thing that we want to do? We know in the past we depend so much on donor communities, but we know that what's happening now in the educational landscape, USAID, for example, is back and gone. How do we bring African leaders together to know that, look, we have to take ownership of our own education? So that's one area we're going to be focusing on. And Ghana will have a very good example. We have a Ghana Education Trust Fund. That's one of the kind. Can we have many of those on the continent so that we can rely on those men to educate our people rather than depending on always on foreign donors for education? We're going to be looking at foundational learning. How do we improve foundational learning? We know that when the foundation of building is weak, the building cannot withstand the test of time. So how do we ensure that by the time our young people get to class 3, P3 or age 10, they can read proficiently? They can do simple arithmetic. They can have that scientific thinking and embedded with our cultural values. Those are very important. So how do we improve that? We're going to be discussing that as a continent and making sure that by the time we leave, we're able to provide answers and strategies that we can use as a continent to make sure that our young people are learning. There are a lot of young people who are in school They're not learning. They're just going to school and coming out. How do we actually stop that? By adopting proactive strategies. We're going to be looking at school leadership. All of this cannot happen without effective school leadership. What are the best practices? Ghana will be doing a lot of that. We have a leadership development framework. We have developed standards for school leaders. How many other countries on the continent have the same? How do we learn from them? Another thing that's very important is data. Data for decision making. What is it like on the continent? If we want to invest money into a particular aspect, set of education, what informs that? We need data, we need evidence for that. Then we talk about higher education research. Researches that we do, are they relevant to the continent? Are they actually propelling us to where we want to be as a country and as a continent? So we're going to look at higher education research. And then how do we finance research on the continent? Do we depend on foreign donors, or we have a strategy as a country? Ghana, we've started that. President has brought in research fund that's going to be launched sometime next year, and with 50 million seed fund for that. How many other countries on the continent doing that? We then look at gender equity and social inclusion. All of that will be discussed during the conference. One is peer learning. So we provide platform, one, for Ghana to showcase the things we're doing and also learn from our colleagues from other countries. Okay. Two, there will be philanthropists, there will be donor community, there will be technical experts who will be listening to all of this. Probably at the end of the day, they would like to invest into our education system as well. And then third one is the opportunities provided for the local economy. There are vendors who will be doing various things, so that's kind of, but generally it's also just to showcase Ghana as a country, what we are doing in education and what we can share with our learners. And if we look at the three dimensions of what it is that we want to achieve here, is one, the foundational learning. And two, is about youth employment. And the third one, how do you create a resilient education system that can actually make these things happen? So that is, those are the three dimensions.
So when is the conference itself, and how many days will it be running?
The conference starts on the 29th of October and finishes on the 31st of October at Labadi Beach Hotel. Yeah.
All right. Wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Sam Awuku is an education development consultant. This is still the AM show. A special birthday to you, George Dadze, Junior, Deputy Coordinator of Outcomes DEP. Today is your birthday. So, George, may the good Lord himself keep blessing you. May he lead you to ensure that you impact the Outcomes DEP positively so that you leave your mark on the world. George Dadze, Junior, Deputy Coordinator of Outcomes DEP. Happy birthday to you. We'll take a short break here. We will be back. Do stay. Welcome back again. Now, the EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair is a premier event dedicated to empowering Ghana's small and medium-scale enterprises, taking place from Friday, October 31st to Sunday, November 2nd, 2025 at the Good Park. And we've been joined in the studio by a couple of businesses for us to talk to. Kojo Teamposa is MD and lead consultant at Pensive Global Consultancy. Kojo, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. I also have Samuel Owusu-Ansah Edu, Shipfast Cargo and Logistics, and he is the managing director. Thank you so much, Samuel, for coming. And Princess Adjoaba is co-director for Daisy Hotel Amenities Company Limited. Good morning. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you, Kojo. So when we say the Pensive Global Consultancy, what do you do? What are you into?
Okay, so we just basically support firm or support system for SMEs, not just SMEs, but for the purpose of this fair, SMEs. Now, we use data research to help SMEs scale up. We realize that Ghana is not lacking SMEs or even people who are starting businesses, but then what we are lacking is the scale-up potential. So we are using data, statistics, how they call it, digitalization, to help SMEs scale.
And what was the driving force, or what motivated you to say, I want to be part of the EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair?
So I had some 12 years or so, I had an experience helping some popular political party, analyze data and help them win, actually. So on the back of that, the thinking was, what can we do to help businesses with this data business as well? So over the years, we've been trying at Pensive Global Consultancy to assist small businesses and even NGOs, do whatever they have to do, achieve their goals. So we've been trying to progress gradually. We dealt with micro businesses. At that level, we dealt with laundries, we dealt with the ladies in shoe businesses, and then we went up a bit higher. We dealt with some known political parties again, because of sensitivity I wouldn't want to name. Then we are at a point where we believe that we've studied the system enough, we've seen the framework, we want a framework that will help SME scale. So we want to, as a matter of strategy, position ourselves at a point where the SMEs are, get to know what they are facing currently, give them the intel to help them scale up.
But I wanted to find out from you, what made you decide to be part of this fair?
So this fair, so it's part of our core strategy. To be the research partner or the data partner of choice for SMEs. So wherever SMEs are gathering, we will be there. And I think that this fair gives us one of the platforms.
So do you have special offers for the people?
Yes, so we have, especially packaged, tailored business intel and then data services that we believe that will help any of these businesses at this fair scale. So at the fair, we will be going stand by stand, going to every business, trying to understand you, conduct a quick survey of your business, quick research audit of your business, and then help you know some bit of models that you can apply to reach your goals.
Let me come to you, Princess. So your business, tell us more about it.
Okay, we are Daisy Hotel Amenities Company Limited. We started out 8 years ago. First, what we did was that we were into supply of hotel amenities for the first 5 years, that is. And then in 2019, we were awarded a contract to produce hand-washing liquid soaps. And the production was, amazing. And so 3 years ago, we decided that, we will branch out into manufacturing of household cleaning amenities. So what we do is that we manufacture fabric softeners, cleaning detergents, laundry. It's been nothing short of amazing so far.
So this is what you do?
Yes.
Yeah, the branding looks beautiful too.
Amazing, yes, yes.
Okay. So what motivated you, or what told you that you need to be part of this fair?
So the partnership with EcoBank and Joy was driven by, a simple idea. When small and medium-sized businesses are empowered, what it does for the country of Ghana, or even for the communities that we serve, is to strengthen us. So the involvement with this, puts SME businesses under one roof where we are able to share ideas, discuss, see how we can help each other, how we can grow our businesses together, and, overall, how to help the country of Ghana. Yes.
And I'm sure there are several players in your sector, for example.
Yes, definitely.
What makes you that outstanding player that people should say, I want to be with you?
From the onset, I have said that, we started out producing, liquid soap, and from the very first go, the quality was, impeccable. And you've seen the packaging. It's nothing short of amazing. And we have extremely competitive prices. The pricing that we give for, that amazing product you just saw is incredible. And yeah, that's what really, puts our brand out there. That's what makes us stand out. The quality, the packaging, and the pricing.
Wow. You've already said the pricing is good. So what special offers will you give us at the fair?
You know, I already said it, we have very competitive prices, but we also offer very, you know, special packages and brands for wholesalers, for retailers, and even for distributors. So, you know, we urge everybody to come on board and work with us. Yes.
And your production capacity is up there?
It is. Okay. I mean, we're still, you know, a work in progress, but you know, we're trying our very best.
Okay. So it means that people who are into wholesale or distribution can contact you for to do business.
Definitely, please.
Okay. So when you come to Good Park, you can meet them so you can do business together. Let me bring in Samuel Osuansa, who is with Shift-Fast Cargo and Logistics. When we hear cargo and logistics, of course, but tell us more about what you do.
Well, that's good, Kojo. So Shift-Fast Cargo and Logistics, we help, we're into shipping and logistics business. Help businesses import and export their cargo out and into the country. So we are located at Asylum Down, and we've been operating for 3 years.
Okay.
But we have combined team experience well over 30 years. So you can trust your goods with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means that even around the table, you can do business.
You can do business.
Or you can take, you know, process and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I gave you the idea. So I'll come first before.
Perfect.
Anyway, but what's the driving force for you to be part of this?
So the driving force, so we thought it prudent that, you know, this platform, I mean, the EcoBank Joy Business SME is a very great platform that we can network and meet potential clients. So clients like my dear sister's product. So one thing also that struck us was we've come to understand like the product, like neat products like this, the focus will probably be locally, but they have to move beyond selling it to the international market. So that is where we come in, and that is why we want to be part of this program, so that at least we can let them understand that, okay, their products can go to the international market, and all the necessary requirements and documentation that requires to be put in place, we guide them through that, so that they can sell their products. Yeah.
So what's special about it? Because there are a lot of shipping and logistics companies.
There are a lot.
What's special?
So there are three core values that are driving us, which they are budget friendly. We are looking at speed, as the name suggests, Shift-Fast. Yes, and then we are looking at customer centric. Yes, we believe that customers need to be listened to. No, we don't really go like, no, we want to always understand that communication is key. So anything during the clearing process, during the import process, we try to keep you updated. And when you come to budget friendly, we believe you can sit down and understand your needs and see how best we can meet you halfway, or we can do a win-win business. Okay. That, yes. When you can speed to, usually when it comes to clearance at the port, if we tell you air freight clearance is 24 hours, it is 24 hours. Our sea freight is 72 hours, it is 72 hours. Okay. Yes, so.
Okay. Yes, that's why it's called Shift-Fast, right? So at this fair, do you have special offers you're bringing to people?
We have special discounts. Yeah. So when you come to the fair, and even if you come there after you mention that, okay, you met us at EcoBank Doing Business, you have a special discount for you. And that day, we have special discounts for clients. Yeah.
All right. I guess Kojo has two potential clients here.
I've actually seen what we can do.
Exactly. So Kojo, let me start with you. If people are listening to us and they are interested in letting you help them grow, where can they locate you? How can they even reach you?
Okay, so we are online. We have a main website and all social media pages at Pensive Global Consultancy.
Say that again. Pensive Global Consultancy.
Yes. Our main office at the Boundary Road, 92 Boundary Road, East Legon, just around where we have a AH Hotel.
Hey, East Legon there, over there.
Oh no, we actually understand the SME market. We are an SME ourselves, so we have designed our bundles or packaging in such a way that you don't need to. I mean, it doesn't cost you a tooth and nail. You just come to see us. We'll design something for you depending on what you want to do. Okay, I want to expand to Nigeria. Maybe my sister here wants to get to Nigeria selling, and that's a bigger market. What can you do for me? Then we bring you on board, look at how we can do, and then based on the data, we tell you that, okay, fine. In Nigeria, set up as maybe Abeokuta, do this one at this place. You stand a chance of getting much more customers when you are in Lagos than here. Right. Put your factory here, sell here. These are the kind of details that we can offer.
All right. Princess, if people want to get in touch with you, how?
Okay, so we're located at Lakeside Estates.
Okay.
And then on all social media platforms, you can find us at Neat Products GH.
Neat
Products GH,
okay.
yes. And of course, you can call us on 020-818841.
Okay, say that again, the number.
020-818841.
Okay, all right. Samuel.
Yes, so we are located in Asylum Down, close to the MPP head office. So you can reach us on 0200-180-273. Or you can visit us on our social media, or you can handle us at Ship Fast Cargo GH. Say that again, that is Ship Fast Cargo GH. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all the social media.
Guys, and lady, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
The young people are doing extraordinary things to better ourselves. And it's good that you are part of this SME. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Even beyond the fair.
Thank
yeah?
you so much.
All right. This is still the AM show. Let's talk about homes. Now, are our homes really safe? Are we building the future or building risks? Across many communities, poor construction practices and unclear land ownership have led to unsafe buildings and unending legal dispute. We want to help you resolve this. So we say, join us at 3 p.m. today at the Accra International Conference Center for an eye-opening seminar on housing safety, substandard constructions, and the legal landscape of land acquisition. Lead speakers include Dr. James Olins-Lindsay. He's president of the Ghana Real Estate Developers and CEO of JL Properties, and also lawyer Kwame Chan. Meet us as we have this wonderful discussion so that you can safeguard the house that you're putting up and even the land you're buying. This is the AM show. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Do stay.